The search for Michael Vaugh continues. Michael went missing from his neighborhood in Fruitland in July of 2021. He was just 5 years old at the time. Law enforcement has spent the last year and a half investigating. But the Fruitland police chief says a credible tip led investigators to a home near Michael's neighborhood this weekend.
Crews are back out in Fruitland today searching for Michael Vaugh. Police believe his remains are in the backyard of a Fruitland home, and today is the 6th day crews are excavating the yard. Crews could be at the house on Red Wing Street for another week. This house is just 4 minutes from the Vaughn's home.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaugh could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Stacey Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondras' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaugh were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wondras' residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed.
Evidence suggests that there are the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaugh. Stacey Wondra, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Stacey Wondra is currently being held at the Payette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement. And Stacey Wondra, 30 years old, a male. Stacey was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacey has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaugh. Brandon Shirtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrian Lucian, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrian was staying with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe that Adrian has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction.
Hey everybody, what is going on? It is Monday, March 17th, 2025. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I have corned beef and some cabbage and potatoes inside the crock pot, bringing myself some good luck. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Hope everybody had an amazing weekend. Who is all here today? Thank you guys all so much for coming in. Angel P, I saw that gift today. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. Sarah Suspicious, Hair Curlers and Crime, Chaos Queen, all good mods are here. Thank you guys all so much for coming over. We got Angel P in the house. Past, thank you for coming. OG Nanny, thank you for being here. Ruby Slippers. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to say this right. Let's just MCS. Who else we got? Amanda, thank you for being here. 541 Hollywood, Sassy. I love being sassy. Thank you for being here. Matter of fact, I am so sassy sometimes. Thank you guys all for coming in. Like I said, today is March 17th, 2025. We're analyzing another one of Stacey's YouTube shit shows. This is part 5. I have made a playlist of all of the ones we've already done. We did 4 of from Brooks's channel. Join me in chat and help me analyze moving forward. Today, we are going to do Dolly Vision. But I hope everybody had an amazing weekend. We had some car issues after my husband got home Friday after work. Didn't get to go to the Portland Expo Center and see Kane Horman. I was pretty sad about that. But it is what it is. Have to get the car fixed so hubby can get back and forth to work. We live in Vancouver, Washington, and he travels all the way into Portland. So that had to get done. But got my meal prepping done this weekend. Got all my shopping done this weekend. Hubby's car did end up getting fixed. And that is great because there's nothing worse than car trouble. It stresses me out just as much as like having money issues. So it's fixed, thank gosh. But yeah, did you guys do anything fun over the weekend? Yeah, it was just a very, very busy weekend. Matter of fact, I don't think I had any time to rest whatsoever. I did put up a video though over the weekend. Blue, Brandy Neil Vaughn's daughter, read her college essay, or the one that she wrote for getting into college, I believe. I don't know how that goes. But when I had Brandon on the live, she read her essay to Brandon. Brandon gladly, wanted to hear it. He was so fine with hearing it, which was great. Patchwork Pudding, thank you for being here. I love that. Pretty Assessor, thank you for coming in. And so I took a little clip of just that so that people could hear her essay, because in her essay she talks about what her family went through when her brother Michael Vaugh was abducted. She talks about Brandy's alcoholism that eventually led to having liver disease, and all the things from her perspective. And I would have to say, since I was so nervous when I had Brandon up on panel, listening to it again and actually being able to closely pay attention to everything she talked about, and just, I already had tears in my eyes during the show that I did, but man, wow, just so powerful. Blue is such a powerful young woman. I cannot wait to see what she does with her life. I could just see her going so far, especially when it comes to advocating, you know, maybe for other abducted or missing children. But yeah, what an amazing young woman. So that video's up. If anybody, you know, doesn't want to watch that live and just wants to hear about her essay, that did go up this weekend. I also have put up a couple of shorts from the different clips that we have found. Stacey Wondra, different contradictions or slips. So those are out there too. And before we get into the video, one more thing. I'm not crying, you are. I'm a titty baby. I really am. I am such a baby. Matter of fact, I have been wanting to do a members live. You're supposed to get perks when you're a member. I've been wanting to do a members live. It's really hard for me to do something like that since I do child cases and I don't want to put any child behind a paywall. So I actually did think of something to put up. It will be going up soon. I just want to write out the description and stuff, but this is what I'm thinking to do for one of my lives, because this is how it all started for me, doing any kind of investigative work or anything. The name of it is How I Investigated My Grandmother's Death. This was way back in let's see, 2005 to like 2012. Years of investigating her death, years of family issues with different family members, my aunt, my uncle. It's going to be about a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. And how do I put it? There were supposed to be inheritance for me and my sisters, but family members basically tried to make us disappear and not let the courts know that we existed and that we were our father's descendants after he passed away. There was a huge investigation in this multi-million-dollar lawsuit and a huge fight. I'll be talking about the money, everything I had to do, my grandmother's illness and how she died, and who we thought was responsible for her death. People taking money from my grandmother, spending all of her money, putting her in a nursing home. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. My grandmother meant the world to me. I was her favorite. I'm going to say it. I was her favorite grandbaby. And to tell you the truth, all my cousins know it. She wanted me to be a little Shirley Temple with all my curls and all of that, and me and her, we did all kinds of antique shopping and garage sailing and estate sales, and all of her antique buddies just loved me to death, and I just enjoyed my grandma so much, and that's why I love being a grandma, because I try so hard to be what my grandmother was for me. So her death really affected me. My dad had already passed when his mother passed. They were very close. And when I found out what was going on with her death and everything that had transpired prior to that, let me tell you, I was unstoppable. I was the most unstoppable grandchild, and there is so much to tell. I'm probably going to have like a part 2, maybe even a part 3. I'm going to be writing everything out. I'm putting this up, and I'm probably going to start this member only live come the end of this month or beginning of next. I just have to get everything in order. So become a member and hear all about it. I would love to have you. because I really can't put kids behind a paywall, and I just have not been able to think of anything to go over in a member only live. And so with that being said, damn, my phone was blowing up last night. Oh my goodness. My phone was blowing up last night. I got emails. I woke up this morning, phone's still blowing up. I've got stuff in Messenger, text messages. I've got emails. I've got all the things because of a news clip that went out. And before I put this up, I just want to say, at this time, I do not believe that this has anything to do with Michael Vaugh. I'm still investigating that, looking into that, all the things. But I really want to show you guys this out of Caldwell. This is a news clip. We'll talk about it as soon as I'm done playing it. This is going to blow your minds. All right, let's just blow this up so everybody can see it. It's only 1 minute and 20 seconds long.
An investigation continues after a multi-agency search and excavation of this property in Caldwell. I'm your neighborhood reporter Brady Caskey, and police say it was a tip about a buried body that led them here, but no bodies were found. A Caldwell City excavator was digging at a house on the corner of Indiana Avenue and Roosevelt Street on Sunday. I was there as police had the area taped off and were digging in what appeared to be 2 different dig sites in the backyard. According to Caldwell Police, the Nampa Police Department had a warrant to search and run a cadaver dog at the property after a tip about a buried body that had, quote, been moved at some point in the past. Caldwell PD says 2 dogs hit on the property, leading detectives and the Idaho State Police Crime Lab to aid in the search. At one point on Sunday, a coroner was at the property as well, but police say no bodies were found and there were no signs a body had ever been buried there. Police told me they had been at the house since Thursday morning. The crime scene was taken down on Sunday afternoon. Caldwell PD says Boise State University also aided in the search using ground-penetrating radar, and Idaho State University anthropologists dug by hand. Idaho News 6 will continue to bring you updates on this investigation as they become available. Reporting in Caldwell, I'm Brady Caskey for Idaho News 6.
Hair curlers and crime. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, wow. Right? Hair curlers and crime just became a new member. You know me. I got to dance in my seat and celebrate. Thank you so much, hun. You worked so hard. You didn't have to do that. I do appreciate you, though. Thank you for accepting that wrench last week. But Caldwell, a tip comes in. How familiar does that sound? They go and they dig in the yard. Cadaver dogs hit in this backyard. The only difference between this and Michael's case is that there is no evidence even that, or they didn't find anything, and they didn't even find evidence that anything was back there. But what? So familiar. They're back there digging in that backyard. I mean, I got so many messages from people like, does this have anything to do with Michael? I honestly do not believe that it does. I have not found any proof of it, no evidence of it, but I did want to show everybody that clip just because how similar. So, thank you, Leo, for coming in. Has anybody else came in that I haven't seen? Jen, thank you for being here. MCP. I'm just going to call you MCP, hon, because I just don't know how to pronounce that. Right? Oh my gosh, right? I was like, what in the heck? Let's put Michael up. Michael Vaugh was abducted July 27th of 2021. There are 4 main suspects that have been named, updated January 10th, 2025. Sarah Wondra, Stacey Wondra are incarcerated now on unrelated charges. Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucian. We are looking for anybody that has any information about Michael's abduction or anybody that has any information about these 4 suspects. If you heard something or you know somebody that heard something and you've heard anything through the grapevine, anything at all, please call the Fruitland Police tip line at 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Be Michael's hero. Be the family's hero. He deserves justice and the family deserves peace. We need to continue our prayers for Michael and the Vaugh family. Extra prayers for Brandy as she is struggling and fighting for her life with this liver disease. I haven't really heard any new updates. I know she had a lot of fun with Buggy over the weekend. So yeah, she's enjoying a lot of family time right now. She has apologized for like not being around or in chat or anything else. She is very sick and just spending lots and lots of time with the family. So we send her our love here from Missing PNW, from our chat, from everywhere. If you want to be involved, if you want to do anything, grab a flyer. Grab a flyer, put it up on social media, tell Michael's story. It doesn't take but a second to grab a flyer and post it up. You can go to my Facebook that I run or any of Michael's Facebook groups and grab a flyer, put it up on social media. I know that Brandy would really appreciate it. She constantly is still sharing Michael. So if you have any tips whatsoever, it doesn't matter if you're scared, you can remain anonymous. There is a reward for over $52,000 for any information leading to Michael, where he might be. One of these suspects abducted Michael. One of these suspects murdered Michael. One of these suspects buried Michael Vaugh in the Wondra's backyard on 1102 Red Rain Street. And one of these suspects moved Michael from the Wanderer's yard to an unknown location. Again, any tip, please. The DA is going to be moving forward with charges. Please call in that tip 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is ever too small. You may think that it's not something important, but anything at this point could be important, especially with them bringing charges. So keep that in mind. And, you know, remain anonymous. Do it for Michael. Do it for his family. You know, if you know something, you're obligated to say something. Seriously. He was 5 years old when he was abducted. Beautiful, beautiful boy. It is time for anybody with information to come forward. All right. Thank you, guys. You guys are amazing. Little Devil, good to see you. Avi's here. Hello, hon. Rizzo, good to see you. At any time you guys ever want to send any support, you can put up prayer hands, blue hearts, monkeys, any of those kinds of things. Sometimes Brandy does watch from the bushes, I know, even when she's not showing up. Thank you so much, Rizzo. You guys are amazing. I do. It is such an amazing chat. I love my chat. There's hardly any drama. I just don't do drama. I don't. I can't. I mean, I will burn bridges with people. I mean, if you want to get me to burn a bridge with you, start drama, because I can't. My life literally revolves around doing research for missing children, my kids and my grandbabies and my husband. That's it. That's all. I have no room whatsoever for drama in my life. So I appreciate everyone here that, you know, you guys are awesome in chat. So, yeah, what else to talk about? Nothing. I think we're just going to move forward this week. Hello, Tracy. This week, we're going to be able to cover a bunch of different people's lives that they did with Stacey. I'm going to try to go live Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't go live on Wednesday. That's the day I go spend the day with my grandbabies. Sometimes I have my other granddaughter on Thursdays, so we're going to see how it rolls, play it by ear, but I should be live at least 3 times this week. Here is the mill train. Sarah Suspicious just put it up. Please grab that link if you want to purchase a Visa card. The family can buy themselves what they need. They can even pay bills. They can go grocery shopping. The mill train is basically, though, for, you know, the Vaughn family to be able to, you know, use whatever cards that you buy. It's a lot of different restaurant cards and everything else. They can use DoorDash and stuff to order themselves food from all different kinds of places. There's so many. You can even buy a card that has like 4 or 5 different restaurants or places on it at the same time, so they can use it at multiple different places of their choice. If you're worried about, you know, what they'll eat or not, which I don't even think that they're picky at all. I just know the Vaughn family is very grateful for anybody that can help them. So, yeah. But this week we're going to be able to, we're all done with Brooks. I picked Dolly Vision today because I don't think I ever watched all of Dolly Vision's interview. So I know I have watched bits and pieces of it, but I hadn't watched the entire thing. And I am excited to watch it with you and to find some slip-ups. Little Devil, you are so amazing. You're so good to me. Thank you, Samantha, for all you do for Monkey and the Neil Vaughn family. You are an amazing person. I appreciate that so very much. You're amazing. Thank you for being here. I could not do it without all of you. Thank you so much, hon. AB in the house. I am so glad I got to catch one of your lives this week. Good to see you. All right, so, oh, I got a pretty little yellow bird on my porch right now. Cannot wait for spring. He had an attitude. Okay. Well, let's just trigger warn everybody now. There's going to be gagging and spitting and foul language. We already know it. He is gross to watch. Hello, sweet Callie. How are you, hun? I appreciate everybody coming in. So let's just get started. I have my phone on, so while I'm over here sharing my screen, I can watch chat. All right, let's do this. Gonna blow it up, and here we go. You know, and there was also, I think PJ Vision had like some kind of recording or something with Stacey Wondra. So we might even go over that because there are a few other things that people have been talking about wanting to go over, like Brandon's video with JLR, my video with Brandon, Carson's video with JLR, Sarah's video with PJ. And these are all things we definitely can go over. So, we're just going to keep going over things until we hear something new that breaks, indictments go out. Yeah, any kind of new information that comes out, I'm definitely going to be like right on top of it. I've got a lot of stuff I'm working on in the background right now, but yeah, things I cannot talk about right now, but eventually we'll be able to. Okay, let's get going and watching Dolly Vision. I do have his link here. It is also in the description. Oh, hold on a second. I got to go back over here because I need to. I'm going to put up this for now. And then, okay. Now let's play it.
We have a guest with us tonight, Mr. Stacey Wondra. Stacey, how you doing tonight?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, guys in the chat, I want to let you know that Stacey wants to speak out to try to clear his name about some of the things that have been said. Now, I want you guys in the chat to be very respectful while he is here. Okay.
Hello,
so, Stacey, now I know we got to go back a little bit in time, you know, and you're willing to jump into the. Oh, hold on. He's back. He's back. We lost you for a second. Now you're willing to jump in the DeLorean, do 88 miles an hour with me tonight. We go back a little bit in time to the day all this that's transpiring now would have occurred on, which would have been July 27th, 2021. Just basically tell me how the day started. How did your day start that day, and what was going on that day? Anything different than any other day?
Not at all. Nothing different. I mean, it was
nothing different. We just woke up that morning, decided to get into our vehicles, be it splash pads, skate parks, driving around, looking for somebody to kidnap. No big deal. Normal day.
I'm pretty sure it was a sunny day. You know, there was.
Already got to stop. Here he says sunny day. He said sunny day before, but then I think it was the last time or the last show with Brooks, he said that it was a cloudy day and everything, just a little bit gloomy or whatever. Everything he says is a lie. Even the description of the day. Why not just describe the day as it really was? It was over 100 degrees outside. It was a beautiful sunny day, hot as hell day, actually.
You know, the routine started the same as every other day. You know, got up out of bed, get some coffee, you know, had some breakfast.
Now, when you woke up that morning, who was at your house that morning that you woke up?
Brandon, Adrian, and Sarah.
Wow, right off of the bat. You guys remember the last show we did? He said that Adrian stayed the night in Idaho with his girlfriend. So here you know, he has lied off and on about Adrian being there, not being there. I don't know why. He always puts Brandon and Sarah there. Why does he mix, you know, and go back and forth on Adrian? Huge red flag. Why does he do that? So last time he said Adrian stayed the night in Idaho. On my show, he told Brandy, or actually he told me, it was before Brandy even came up, that Adrian was at the house that night. But now we have Adrian, he's saying there at the house that morning too. So was Adrian there? Not there. huge question.
So, you're married to Sarah, right? Are you still married to her?
Now getting the divorce finalized this week.
Okay, so you're getting divorce finalized this week. So from there, what happened? You get up, you eat breakfast, a normal day, and you're in what? You're in a cab business.
Taxi company, yeah.
So you run a taxi company, and you run that out your home right there in the neighborhood. And is it, from my understanding, is that business ran through Craigslist?
No.
How?
The last interview with Brooks, he said that they would put ads in Craigslist. Am I incorrect on that? For their taxi business? What's up, D. Joshua?
How was your business? How did you advertise your business? Was it something that
we had a bunch of business cards? Business cards. We had a Facebook page. We had I think we might have advertised one time on Craigslist offering rides, but
so it's kind of a word of mouth small business that you was running out of your house.
Exactly.
So on this day, after you had breakfast, did you get a call for a ride or something of that nature?
Yeah. Sarah was the one that was in charge of taking the calls. She took a phone call and then asked me if I wanted to go do it. It was from Ontario to Boise Airport. It was, it was good money for us. It was $150 one way.
One way. Okay.
Out of everything that Stacey says, this taxi run to Ontario to Boise, he has always said that has happened. Did it happen? Don't know. But the fact that he does stick to this story, always says it's around 11 o'clock from Ontario to Boise. Is there any truth in it?
Do you remember about what time of day that you took that first cab ride?
I left about 1 o'clock.
So you left for about 1, and you were gone for how long? Do you think you was gone for on that first cab ride that morning?
Hey, Julia. So he's saying here 1 o'clock. We know he's seen on CCTV at the splash pad around 1:30.
How long was I gone, you said?
Yeah, for the first one that you took. How long was your first trip?
I mean, I only took one ride that day. Sarah was gone.
One ride. He's saying here, one ride that day. On panel with me and Brandy, he tells Brandy that he had another ride at an apartment complex near that skate park, and that's why he was over there. And here he's only saying one.
The morning time, she took Adrian to Nampa or Boise or wherever they went, but I know I only did one run and I left about 1 o'clock.
Okay.
I got back about 4:30.
Before you left, like when you got up, what was the mood in the house like? What was everybody doing? Was they just sitting around?
Peaceful.
What were they talking about? Anything unusual? Anything nothing out of normal?
Not at all.
So you left. Did you leave before Sarah left, or did Sarah leave before you?
She was gone before me.
Okay, so you were there when she left with Adrian. So Brandon, he was still at the house.
No, Brandon, Sarah, and Adrian went to Nampa or Boise.
Okay, they all went together.
Caldwell, Boise.
What is he saying here? They went to Nampa or Boise?
He was still at the house.
No, Brandon, Sarah, and Adrian went to Nampa or Boise.
Hold on. We got to put the captions on.
Okay, they all went together.
Caldwell, Boise. I'm sorry.
Okay. And then
That doesn't make sense. We know they were in Nampa. Why would he even say Boise?
Was he? I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. And then shortly after you left to take the that cab trip.
Correct.
Okay. So when you come back in the neighborhood, do you know about what time it is?
Got back like after the taxi run or after
Yeah, after the taxi
the
run.
vehicle. It's like 4:30.
So you got back about 4:30. All right.
Correct.
So when you got back home, was anybody there?
No, it was just me.
Okay, just
Oh
you.
no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, Sarah and Brandon were home.
Okay, so they were already back from dropping
Mhm.
Adrian off in either Boise or where was it you said?
Caldwell and Nampa. I don't know exactly
Oh,
where they
okay.
were. Their stories never match up. So
So okay, it's funny you say the stories don't match up because I noticed one thing in the News 7 interview that you did. You really said that you couldn't believe that Sarah or Brandon would do something like this, but Adrian, you kind of had your doubts about, and she
Mhm.
glossed over that. My curiosity is this: what made you think that they wouldn't do this, but Adrian might? That was my curiosity, like, because I wanted to hear you speak a little more on that. What made you think that, oh, they wouldn't do it, but Adrian might? Is there something about this guy that stands out to you that may be a little different,
Yeah,
or
he's got a infamous history of human trafficking.
of how are you aware? How are you aware of his?
The detectives informed me.
Okay, why you?
I just don't believe that law enforcement told him that he was into human trafficking. We know that Adrian got busted with a lot of drugs. At one point, I want to believe, what was it, 2017 or 18 or something? And I mean, and it was a lot. We don't know if he was ever into human trafficking. We do know that he wanted to do some app, according to Stacey, with Sarah, and that had something to do with scamming people for money. I know for a fact that he, was hanging out with and knew the Pope twins out of Twin Falls, Idaho. They are connected to some trafficking. We know that all of these people are connected to a lot of RSOs. We know that a lot of Adrian's profiles on Instagram and Facebook have women, like fake profiles, have women's pictures and stuff. Is he catfishing men to make money? Is he doing, all of this fake profile and stuff because he's trying to do some kind of prostitution online? There's actually somebody that he hung out with during this time, and it will be talked about on another live. But I can say here right now that I know some information that I will be sharing later on, that a woman that he was hanging out with and seen during this time he was in Idaho said that he was trying to get her to do some prostitution. Yeah, I have those messages. But anyway, human trafficking is a big word. So we don't know exactly if they were doing it.
Why you was in jail? Now you wasn't in jail for nothing to do with Michael Monkey Vaughn. You was in jail for
Found in
charges.
possession of a firearm.
Yeah, unrelated charges. So you was already in jail. Okay, I understand that. So you get back home. Brandon and Sarah are there at the house. What is going on when you get there? Are they just hanging out? Are they watching TV?
Yeah, just hang out. I don't even remember if we had a TV during that time frame, but because Sarah had really bad fucking, I don't know, psychological issues. She would one point she'd be like, "Oh, TV's for the devil. It's all blah 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 blah. And then one minute she'd be, oh, we can get a TV now. So we
Yeah.
really never had a TV more than maybe 2 or 3 months at a time.
Before I get too far into it, what would you say the mental state of Sarah is? Do you think is she
Mentally unstable.
mentally
100%.
unstable? But would you say does she understand right from wrong?
I think she's capable of it. Whether she falls through it is a different story.
Of course, Sarah knows right from wrong, and so does he, but he wants to blame himself for having, fetal alcohol syndrome and all of his other disorders that he talks about constantly. You can't deflect away from the fact that you're grown-ass adults, right from wrong. Whether you have a mental disorder or, aren't right mentally, you still know right from wrong.
Okay. So you get back, they're just hanging out, regular day. Nothing so far seems out of ordinary to you. Just regular day, waking up, making money, trying to live. I got that. So what happens at that point in the day? Okay. Where do y'all go next?
Brandon asked us to go to pick up his car in CUDA.
Okay.
And he had been asking us prior quite a lot. So we just put it off, and we're just tired of asking us. So
Was there anything wrong with his car?
yeah, he blew the spark plugs out of it.
Okay, so that's why y'all were going down to pick his car up. Now, from my understanding, do you tow a trailer also?
I mean, I can tow trailers. I know how. We didn't tow a trailer that night.
Was y'all going to tow his vehicle back, or was he?
It was a tow strap, correct?
Okay, so y'all were hooking it up to your vehicle to tow his vehicle back. So he asked you. He's like, Stacey, I need you to take me to get my car. Will you help me out? And you're like, yeah, I'll help you. I hate to backtrack a little bit. How did you meet Brandon?
They're moving job to Labor Days.
So y'all have done. Is it true to say y'all have done different odd jobs, I guess, on the internet?
I used to be huge fanatic, huge fan of doing odd jobs. It was an easy way to make some money.
Okay, I understand that. So y'all decide that you're going to go ahead and take him and tow his car back.
Okay, that's Dolly's, not my end. Okay. Yeah, that specific kind of drug is supposed to make you a little bit amped out. Just reading chat for a second. Get off the wall, dude. Oh.
Back to his house. Now, listen, there was at one point, I guess it was believed that you was at the splash pad around 1:30 that day.
Rhiannon, I don't know what Labor Dave says. He passed away. Not sure when he passed away. I have heard he passed away before Michael was abducted, and I've heard that he didn't until a little bit afterwards. I am not sure on that, but I do know that he passed away.
Is there a reason? And I guess this would have been before you went to make that run to your taxi ride?
Yeah, so I stopped at the splash pad because I needed to get my can of chew that had fallen into the passenger side floorboard, like the farthest away, so I couldn't exactly just stop and.
Yeah, I understand. For people that are watching that don't understand, the splash pad is a little park at the beginning. I would say is that 8th Street, Stacey?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a little splash pad at the beginning of 8th Street, and there's a little parking lot because even when I was there, it was an easy place for me to pull over. So I pulled over in that same parking lot that you would have pulled over in. And you say that you had your chew, you had to get it out the car. So that would have put you on. That's why your vehicle was seen at the park.
Kelly says he's ready to pass out. He's a suspect. You're being asked questions in a case and he's falling asleep on the wall. I don't get it. He's probably coming down off of something. Or just doesn't care. I mean, how many times have you guys seen in his interview? He will stop talking with the person asking him questions to look at his phone, to talk to people on, text message or what. Totally rude during interviews. I mean, when I had him up on panel, every time I tried to talk, he would talk over me. Like he didn't even care that I existed. Like he had no respect for me whatsoever up on my panel. Of course, treating Brandy like crap too, but just saying he just shows no respect at all to anybody in any of these interviews.
Part that day is because you were getting your chew out of the vehicle.
Correct.
Okay. Now that day was around that time of the day. Was Brandon with you at all? It was just you at the splash pad, correct?
Oh, it was just me.
Oh, okay.
Just so you guys can see.
So at what time? Okay, yeah, long cut.
Longhorn.
Okay.
I'm a huge Copenhagen nerd, but this was the cheapest I could get, so I was okay with that.
Okay, so so you go off, you do cab ride, you come back home. Brandon and your girl is there now. Now I don't really like to dive into your personal relationship, but I mean you've openly said things on the news and on other channels that she was sleeping with Brandon.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And that you was aware of that because you wasn't sleeping with her and it was consensual that you gave them permission to sleep.
Yes, Angel P, I completely agree with you. He treats women like crap. And yeah, I mean, when he got up on Justin's panel and him and Josh were talking to Stacey, he wasn't, having an attitude. He didn't have an attitude here. I think one of the only women that I saw him up on panel with that he didn't treat like crap was Lauren from Hidden True Crime, and we'll be going over that this week too.
Okay.
Yeah, for a couple days. Yeah.
And then I guess from what I'm hearing, it went a little longer than a couple days, kind of thing.
Yeah, a week or a couple days turned into a week. A week turned into like 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into a month. So
was y'all inviting? I hate to get too personal. Was y'all inviting people into the relationship like that a lot, or was this kind of
no?
Is this kind of a new thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a reason? Is she? I hear she wanted a baby. Is that true?
I didn't. Not with her.
But how much had she talked to you about wanting a baby?
I mean, it's always been a thought process. It's just not like we sat there and talked about it for hours.
Yeah. Okay.
But she would bring it up to me, but when she
Thank God they never had any kids, right?
when she told me after she cheated on me that she caught herpes, that was just the end of the whole sex.
Now this was cheating on when you
Right.
with somebody that you hadn't approved of.
Oh yeah.
So
she was
cheating outside of the relationship, not just essential stuff that you was allowing, but other people that you wasn't allowing.
Tracy, I'm glad you brought it up. We did talk about this before, and I am not sure, but I have wondered the same thing. The way she's going out, the way she's doing these taxi runs, the way she brings people back to their place all the time, even homeless people all the time. Like, was she prostituting herself? Were they prostituting her? Like, I am wondering the same thing. He has talked, Stacey, multiple times about her sleeping with all these other people. I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay. So around that day, you decide that you're going to go ahead, you're going to take Brandon to get his vehicle. and you decide to leave. Okay. I'm assuming you have to once again go down 8th Street to get out the neighborhood. For anybody that don't know, this neighborhood is basically one way in, one way out.
One way out.
Yeah.
Correct.
When you go in, you have to go past the splash pad to get in it. You have to come past the splash pad to get out it. At the end of at the end of 8th Street is a windy dirt road that leads you down to the Snake River. It's what I think it's 3 neighborhoods in a cul-de-sac type area. I'll show it to you guys on the map in a little bit. So when you was leaving there, around what time do you think you decided, okay, Brandon, and who all left with you? Sarah went with you, Brandon went with you. By this time, Adrian's already gone.
Yeah, so it's just us 3.
So y'all,
You know, Dolly Vision right there says, you know, Adrian's already gone. And this is because Stacey has said that Adrian left and went to Boise to go stay the night somewhere. But I just believe that Adrian was at the house. I personally believe it. I know a lot of other people believe it. I believe he was there, you know, the morning they all woke up. And I think he was there the next day.
y'all load up in what vehicle do you load up in?
Took the red GMC for the burgundy.
Okay, the GMC. So
Actually, at the beginning of the show, I didn't make any sense. I have to correct myself right now. So at the beginning of the show, when he said Adrian was there that morning, yeah, Adrian was there that morning. It would have been the next morning we're questioning whether or not Adrian was there, the 28th of July. And I was saying they were talking about him staying the night somewhere in Boise. Sorry for the confusion. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Jesus. So, sorry about that. Didn't mean to say that. I just need to correct myself right now. He's talked about Adrian being at the house the night that Michael was abducted. He has said that he wasn't there the night that Michael was abducted. Haven't heard anybody speak on whether or not Adrian was there the next morning. That's what I was thinking when he first said that Adrian was there that morning, so I apologize. I will always correct myself if I'm wrong or catch myself. Sorry, you guys.
at some point you're leaving. Do you stop anywhere on the way?
Yeah. No, we didn't. Sorry.
Okay.
My puppy's just working.
Okay. At some point, did you have to put brake fluid or power steering fluid or something into your vehicle? Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, we did stop at like right outside the subdivision.
So you stopped right outside the subdivision. Are you talking about like on the main drag on like 8th?
Yeah, 8th Street, 8th in Arizona. That stop sign right there.
So you
Me too, hair curlers and crime. I would love to know more about the 28th.
come out your neighborhood and you come to 8th right there at the corner. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you stop and you put power steering fluid in your vehicle.
And remember, guys, we've talked about this before, how Dolly was able to get Stacey to talk about the house on Arizona that faces the field. There on 8th in Arizona. There's only one house's yard that faces that field. And he gets Stacey to talk, to literally say the house across from the field, and Stacey says yes. It's the one and only time that Stacey admits to be, seeing this child on Arizona, where we believe Michael was when he was abducted.
Yep.
Now, was you the only person to get out the vehicle at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you check the level, you see it needs some power steering fluid. Now, while you was there, did you notice anything?
Noticed a boy playing in the neighborhood, but
Here he says boy.
or somebody's yard, but it doesn't
Now-
look any more unusual than
Now I know the area pretty good. So when you come out your neighborhood, there's a field that sits adjacent straight across from your neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you was to go down, the first right would be, let's see, the first right. I don't know what the name of that street is off of 8th.
Okay, repeat. What are you asking? Which
Exactly. Why not take care of the food there at your house? You know you're fixing to leave and go on a long trip. The last time you drove it, if you like when you need power steering fluid, your steering wheel makes that really loud screeching sound or vibrating noise, hum, depending on what kind of car or truck it is. Why not put it in before you even leave? Because it's not something that they did. It was an excuse to be to the side of the road.
I'm just trying to get a location where you would have stopped, a good general basis of where you stopped. Like
so do you know where Arizona is, right? So you pull out the subdivision, Hidden Meadow subdivision, and you take a left, and right there's a little dirt patch right before the
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. So we pulled off right on the right hand side of the road.
Okay. Okay.
Before Arizona.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
Probably
Now,
500 feet before.
Okay. So in this, what time would you think this was during the day?
5:15.
5.
No, sorry. We left about 5:30, so it'd been like 5:40.
5:40.
Babe,
Okay.
in my bottle.
Oh my gosh, he goes through so many different times here when he leaves the neighborhood. He says 5:15, 5:30, 5:45, around the 6 o'clock hour, 6:15. I mean, like, so many times are given here. Michael was abducted, according to Fruitland Police Department, between 6:40 and 7:10. We know that their truck leaving the neighborhood is seen on CCTV cameras because Brandy told us about it at 7:08 p.m. He is got to detach himself from that time frame from 6:40 to 7:10.
What's there, please?
All right. So when you're sitting there, you're putting power steering fluid in your vehicle, and you notice a child with a. Tell me a little bit about the child you noticed. What did you see? What was going on? What you can remember? I know it's been 2.5, almost 3 years, so I know it's hard. But if you can remember anything from maybe what the kid was wearing, what the kid looked like.
I just know he had dark brown hair. He was taller, like he had to have been 8, 9, 10 years old.
Good point, Rhiannon. He would have never made the story about pulling over if he thought he wasn't seen on camera. He knows he was seen on camera. Police told him he was seen on camera. And that is probably exactly why he makes up this story. I mean, honestly, I'm not making up no story. I'm not telling anybody that I pulled. Oh, if I was a criminal, if I was somebody that was going to abduct a child, why would I tell anybody that I pulled over on 8th in Arizona? Right where I know this child came up missing. When we watched Brooks live with him, she starts asking him questions. And he said something about pulling over to the side of the road to her, and he's just uncomfortable. It was a slip up, in my opinion, that he even brings it up. And now he's just questioning about it everywhere he goes on all these panels about pulling over to the side of the road.
Did not look anything, not, I mean, mind you, it wasn't a clear picture, you know what I mean? I wasn't really trying to pay attention, you know?
Yeah, you was putting power steering.
Always pay attention to my surroundings all the time, you know? But nothing was unusual about it. Like, you just seemed like a normal kid just playing in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and you say he had a toy. Do you remember what kind of toy he may have had?
No.
Exactly. The one thing that he hasn't changed is the location where he pulled over at on 8th Street.
Oh, you
I didn't pay attention again. I just know he was playing with something is all I know.
And you didn't see nobody else around the kid. Was he in a yard?
Yeah, he was in the neighbor's yard, yeah. Or one of the people's yards.
See here, this is a slip up. He was in one of the neighbor's yard. Yeah, or one of the people's yards. He had to correct himself there because how would he know that it was a neighbor's yard, which is the Vaughn family's neighbor? I mean, it was on Chris Madonna show that he did with Tyler. They talk about how Michael would talk to the dogs in the neighbor's yards, and that neighbor was there on Arizona, but he mentions the neighbor's yard here. And he doesn't like it for whatever reason. Even though he knows now that Michael's been abducted and everything else, that where the Vaughns live and that is a neighbor's yard, he still doesn't like saying in the neighbor's yard. That's where he was playing, because then that puts him at the only house there on 8th or on Arizona.
Off of East Street, but
Okay.
I
Okay.
assumed it was just
So
somebody's
he
kid,
wasn't playing.
you know?
He wasn't.
He even says off of 8th Street. No, the only neighbor's house is on Arizona. He had to add 8th Street because that's what he wants to do. He wants to convince everybody that Michael was in a yard on 8th Street. He's even said sidewalk, even though there is no sidewalk on Arizona or 8th Street unless you're on the other side of the road on the left on 8th Street. And there's no houses on that side. It's all behind a long white fence.
Playing in none of the fields over there.
No.
Oopsie, Stacey.
Oh, okay. That's what I was trying to get at. Was he in the field or was he near? You know, because a lot of
And
that is
outside
field,
the neighbors, outside a house, like in the front yard.
across from the field, which would sit right across from the field. Okay. Okay.
So see right there, he got Stacey shaking his head yes. He doesn't say yes out loud. He shakes his head yes across from the field, which would sit right across from the field. Okay. So let's just rewind a little bit, because this is the one and only time this child that Stacey sees, he admits the child being on Arizona.
He in the field or was he near? You know, because a lot of
and
that is
outside
field,
the neighbors, outside a house, like in the front yard.
Outside a house, like in the front yard. And now Dolly's going to say across from the field.
across from the field, which would sit right across from the field. Okay. Okay.
He even says across from the field, which would sit right across from the field. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right here because I think this is really important to do. Let me come over here. Okay. Just for those people that haven't seen this before, I know I have the video. Let me find it real quick. Let me just take a short minute because I really want to. Let's see. Second. You see. I have this. Let me see if it's this one.
Taking a right down.
So this right here is the corner of 8th. Actually, she's on 9th Street. I'll just rewind it a little bit. She's walking away from her home, headed to Arizona Street. And she's walking on 9th, walking west towards Arizona. This would be the house here, the only house. See where this truck is? It is facing west towards the field. 8th Street is back there along that white fence.
Of
No
8th
sidewalk.
in Arizona. We are in Hidden Meadows. All right, let's turn around right here. We're in Hidden Meadows subdivision. I don't want to go any farther.
Hidden Meadows is where the Wondras live back there in that neighborhood.
Here we go. We are coming out of Hidden Meadows subdivision onto...
This would have been where they took a left-hand turn to pull over to the side on the dirt patch.
Southwest 8. All right, let me jump out here real quick. If I'm over here, you look down the road. I'm coming out of Hidden Meadows to subdivision. Allegedly. Pulled off right here. To pull in and put in power steering fluid, correct? Arizona and 9th. All right, coming out of Hidden Meadows subdivision.
And right there is where they're pulled over. Sorry. Boo. Oh, I messed up.
In Arizona. Turning all the way back around.
But you guys get the point. Let me see. I have another. Let me see. 1 second. I really want you guys to be able to see, and I know I have it. Let's see. Anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked. I just want you guys to know that there is only one house that faces that field, and Dolly Vision got Stacey to talk about it. I did do a live of that entire neighborhood here recently. You can go over and check it out. That's what I was just looking for, hair curlers and crime, and I don't know why. Let me look one more time. I'm not finding it. I have it downloaded. I am looking again. You see, that has to be up here. Where did I do that? I had a great video that I did. of that. Let me see if it's on here.
Notice a child with a. Tell me a little bit about the child. And you notice.
I am not finding it. I'll have to look through here. We'll go over that though. I do have it somewhere. I know, Anna, it's so sad. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, Capital Productions, for coming in. Let's get back to sharing the screen here and going back over this. He just got done admitting to Dolly that it's the house across from the field, is the only house on Arizona. He puts himself right there where Michael was abducted, allegedly.
Okay. So how long do you think he was there putting power steering fluid in the vehicle?
At max 30 seconds. It doesn't take very long.
That statement does not make sense. 30 seconds. You're there. You see this little boy playing with a toy. Mind you, your back's got to be turned to Arizona or down the 8th anyway if you're putting power steering fluid in and the hood on the truck is up. How he even sees this kid is impossible. So, I mean, that right there just tells you they probably were not putting in power steering fluid. Brandon, when he was on live with me, he says that he got out of the vehicle to help Stacey put in the power steering fluid. So now we have Brandon outside the vehicle with Stacey. There's a child there. Stacey says they all saw the child. This child changes ages from anywhere from 7 to 10. What he looks like, at one time he calls him a Hispanic boy. He says that the boy's in the yard and he hears somebody calling him. He has all of these crazy stories about the child being on the sidewalk, being in a yard, being on 8th Street, being on Arizona, across from the field, neighbor's house, and then deflects from that and back on 8th Street. The thing is how would you have all of that information if you only got out of your truck for 30 seconds to put the power steering fluid in and get right back in your vehicle? Lies, lies, and all lies. And we all know that it's all lies.
And then you jump in and you leave from there and you continue down 8th Street to go to Brandon's, what is it, his mother's house?
In Cuna,
okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you remember, but I know it's been a long time. I know this is probably a trick on you. You might not remember. Do you remember what Brandon and Sarah were wearing that day?
No.
No way you don't remember at all? No. Was it, or they dressed?
Brandon always wore shorts usually in the summertime, so I'd assume it was shorts. Sarah probably wore her jeans, if I had to guess.
Okay, so she's wearing some jeans, and he usually wears shorts.
Hey, Tara.
You ever know Brandon to wear shirts with like cut off sleeves or anything?
No.
Never see him with no cut off sleeves.
Doesn't see Brandon with cut off sleeves when most of Brandon's shirts have cut off sleeves, the ones that are cut way down in the armpit and everything.
Okay, now at that point y'all leave there. Y'all don't stop no more in the neighborhood, right? Correct?
We don't what?
Y'all don't stop in the neighborhood no more after putting the power steering fluid.
Not at all.
Okay, so now y'all leave down 8th Street and then you're heading towards Cuna, you said, correct?
Correct.
All right. So on the way to Cuna, did you stop anywhere to go to the bathroom, stop and get anything to drink? Nothing on the way. So you was already gassed up.
No, we already had gas on the truck. I always kept the truck full, 90%.
Brandon says that they stopped at the gas station and Stacey denies it.
At the time, the truck was always full on gas.
Okay. And when y'all came up out of 8th Street, what direction did you go in when you came up out of 8th Street? Did you take a left? Did you take a right? Which way did you take?
When we left to go to Cuna, or when we came back?
Yeah, when you left.
We took a right off Whitley, going up US 95 to the interstate past the Chevron.
Wood Chipper, thank you so much. You're so awesome. Thank you for the super chat, the super sticker, and thank you for being super. Let's dance around in our chair for a moment. Get it, girl. Love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, let's hop back over. Do I need to stop? Yep, had to stop sharing for a second so I can add it back up on the screen. All right.
Okay, I got you. But y'all never stopped at that Chevron at any point?
No.
Oh,
But Stacey does. He does not want to say that they stopped at that gas station. I'm not sure why. I don't know why he wants to deflect away from that.
oh, okay. All right. So how long did it take you think, to get to Brandon's house? About an hour and a half, right?
45 minutes. 45 minutes. It
Okay.
depended. I don't remember exactly because traffic could have been again, that was a long time ago, you know, so I'm trying to do the best I can. But traffic most likely was a little backed up. But traffic is only usually backed up coming from Boise to Ontario, not usually going from Boise to Ontario, or Boise to Fruitland to Boise.
Yeah, I follow you. Okay, so y'all didn't stop anywhere in between the trip. Y'all drove straight over to Brandon's, and that was his mother's house, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did Brandon have anything with him?
He had his duffel bag full of clothes, but it was small. It wasn't even a huge duffel bag. It was tiny.
Like, what do you consider tiny? Like a book bag size, or big enough to fit?
Take like a small duffel bag, you know.
Talking about the duffel bag. And that they had a duffel bag. And the statement that he's about to make is mind-blowing. Sarah Suspicious says, were they there? I'm not sure if they were at the gas station or not. I'm sure if they were, if there was any kind of video footage, Tara, law enforcement probably has it. Sarah says, I know Brandon says that they did get gas though. So that's where it's like, where did they or didn't they? And if they did, why is Stacey wanting to deflect from that? Only thing I can come up with is I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that. Sarah Suspicious. I think they would be seen on CCTV, and there's something they don't want law enforcement to see. And they were seen on CCTV leaving the neighborhood at 7:08. So I'm sure law enforcement knows, did they turn right? Did they turn left? You know, which way did they go to get the gas? I think you have to take a right out there on that road to go get gas, but you would have to take a left if you were going to head to Kuna, which, by the way, it's not Kuna. Somebody corrected me in my comments. It's Kuna. So I said I would try harder. It really cracked me up. Somebody was like, you're pronouncing it wrong. People in Idaho are probably cringing. So I promise to try to pronounce it correctly. And then 541 Hollywood, he can manage to always keep the truck full of gas, but not power steering fluid, which is basic maintenance that he owned a business doing. That doesn't make sense to me, right? You would think that he would be able to, you know, keep everything going. But of course, we know that everything that he says is lies. Because if you pulled over to a gas station, he could have checked other issues and not had to lie about pulling over, right? If they would have went to the gas station, that is very true, Rihanna. Like, if you know you got to put in power steering fluid, then why are you even pulling over to the dirt patch? You could have just went to the gas station. Yeah, he could be deflecting it because of that. That's amazing. I love that. Thank you. It only makes sense that there was where he was. Exactly, Jen. Afterwards, the dude calls the cops and said that they had him buried in the backyard. He's, of course, guilty. They may have moved him, but this is a confession. It is 100%. Absolutely.
Had the little head straps on it, but not near big enough to put any a human in it at all.
Yes, Fruitland gas station. Sorry if I said Cuna.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way that he could have stuffed a small child
No.
in that bag. He just had dirty clothes in the bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all get over there about 45 minutes later. What happens when y'all get there? What transpires?
Julie, I do have a map. I even have it downloaded. I just couldn't find it on there. I actually did an entire live about the entire neighborhood and showed the area where all of the houses were, exactly where Stacey says he saw the kid and everything else. So I've had plenty of nights to do that.
At that point,
Brandon went into the house. He said he was going to go do some laundry or whatever. He's going to get some water because, you know, he always told us he didn't like drinking our water at our house, which made no sense because he drank it all the time. Like he would drink lots of it. So,
well, I'm kind of like
Huh?
that too. I don't drink water from places I ain't from.
Yeah,
It makes you sick. It'll make you sick. Every time
I won't even drink water when we go down to the beach. I'm always carrying water bottles.
I go and drink water and I'm not from that place, it'll make me sick. I don't know what it is. My body can't take it. If I drink bottled water, I'm okay. I can understand that. So he goes inside to wash clothes. Now, did he wash the clothes that he was wearing?
No, he just didn't change the clothes, but I
So
just
he
know
goes-
he literally. All I know, to my knowledge, he just washed the clothes that was washed. It was double bag.
But he did change the clothes he was wearing, you said.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, why is he saying Brandon changed his clothes? You know, Brandon said up on my panel that he didn't even wash any clothes, and he said if he did, they were probably ones that were there.
Okay, so he goes in, changes clothes, washes the clothes that's in his duffel bag. Do you or Sarah ever go in the house with him?
No, Sarah and I said I was outside.
Brandon says that Stacey came into the house, and here he says him and Sarah stayed. Is that what he just said? Because at one point he says him and Sarah stayed in the truck while Brandon went in the house. In another interview, he said Sarah went in to the house to go to the bathroom. There's multiple different stories about who was in the house doing what.
With him?
No, Sarah and I said I was outside. Sorry.
You're fine.
I was outside hooking the vehicle up to the car.
Okay. What kind of vehicle do you remember? Did
Yeah,
Brandon?
it was a Mercedes Benz. It was 1999 Mercedes Benz.
1999.
Brandon was always, for some reason, he was always a fan of foreign vehicles. I could never understand it, but
Yeah, I had one of those too. It was a piece of shit. Okay.
Yeah, I think that warrant for his arrest, wood chipper, is the reason why he went back to Livingston, Montana.
I don't remember if it was
Mercedes sucks.
I think mine was.
When it comes to fixing them, is ridiculous.
I know mine had a little piece go out, and it was a fortune. I ended up junking the car over. It was too much to fix it. So, so you hook up his Mercedes 1999 piece of crap to the GMC. So you're outside, he's inside. How long do you think that takes you to get that all hooked up and stuff like that?
Well, I had to make sure it was, secure. You know what I mean? So I'd probably say it took me maybe 15 minutes. To get everything lined up, because I had to push his car out of the driveway and then had to,
So basically you and Sarah just wait in the vehicle while he's inside washing clothes. What?
Yeah, him and Stacey waited in the vehicle, but on Brooke's channel, he said that she went inside the house.
what was like her demeanor like that night? Was y'all having good conversations? Was y'all getting along? How was everything in y'all's relationship at this point, like as far as y'all conversation wise in the vehicle?
I mean, it's hard for me to drive without music and be in the truck without music. Music is my life. So a lot of times when Sarah and I were in the truck, even if we're just sitting somewhere, I would blast music. You know, I would just turn the music up. I had a real
Yeah, he can't walk, he can't mow the lawn, but he can push a car out of the driveway here in Cuna when they're there to tow away this vehicle.
good sound system in the truck. So, yeah, I think most likely at that time, it was more music than it was conversation.
Okay, so y'all were just sitting around listening to me. What kind of music do you listen to, Stacey?
You name it, I'd probably.
Are you like a classic rock guy? Are you like a metalhead? Or you like I like pop?
Well, you and I would probably get along pretty good because Five Finger Death Punch.
I like Five Finger Death Punch. They're awesome.
Five Finger Death Punch, Volbeat, Shinedown, 3 Days Grace. I like Metallica, like Skid Row.
Oh, I love Skid Row. One of my
Journey,
favorites back in the day.
Yeah, 18 to Life is my favorite song by them.
That's crazy. We probably would get along, didn't Stacey? I'm a big Sebastian Bach fan. I hate to admit it.
Oh my God.
I love
Sebastian Bach is amazing. And then I like Falling in Reverse.
Falling in Reverse is good. Okay. I got to get it.
Escape the Fate, 18 Visions, Burn Halo.
Okay. I got a good concept of the kind of music you listen to now. Okay. So y'all y'all jamming out, y'all, you know, is Sarah kind of into the same stuff as you, like the same rocker type?
No.
She's not.
She would tolerate it just because she knew that's all I would play.
What kind of stuff was she into? What kind of music? Like, is she
Trey songs, R&B a lot. Trey songs, BB King, Rihanna, you know, just girl shit.
Yeah, I got you. I feel you. I listen to that. I mean, I gotta listen to it. I got a girl, so she makes me listen to that same type of stuff. Okay, so y'all sitting out there, very little conversation, just jamming out the music. And how long do you think y'all sat out there waiting on him to do the clothes? You know, just a guess.
I think he just threw him in the washer at that time. I don't think he even put him in the dryer, but I think it probably took him maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Okay.
About the time it took me to hook the car up and stuff. So
he washed them fairly quick.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, from there y'all got the car hooked up. And then where do y'all go from there?
So we took a route going through Eagle Road, down to the.
Hey, babe. Trace, could you turn that down just a little bit, please? Can you turn that down a little bit? Thank you, honey.
Black Canyon Highway. I remember that took you into Payette, by Clay Peak landfill and stuff like that. But
so y'all drove past.
Did he say that? Let's go back. Talking about the dryer. I haven't heard that yet.
And then where do y'all go from there?
So we took a route going through, but I think it probably took him maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Okay. I got a girl, so she makes me listen to that same type of stuff. Okay, so y'all sitting out there, very little conversation, just jamming out the music. And how long do you think y'all sat out there waiting on him to do the clothes? You know, just a guess.
I think he just threw him in the washer at that time. I don't think he even put him in the dryer, but
he put him in the washer. He says he doesn't even think that he put him in the dryer.
I think it probably took him maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
And that he thinks it probably took him about 10 minutes.
That's
okay.
About the time it took me to hook the car up and stuff. So
he washed them fairly quick.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, from there y'all got the car hooked up. And then where do y'all go from there?
Yeah, and don't forget they talk about how they had to go back the next day to dry his clothes or something like that. Yeah, doing clothes over there at his mom's house when they had their own laundry service. Everybody's talked about that a lot too. Samantha, I was wondering, does anybody have access to the one he did with Chris and detectives the night before they actually dug up the yard? Anyone have access to the one he had with Chris? Rizzo, are you talking about the confession footage? When he's talking with Chris Madonna? I'm not sure. That's the only one I can think of when you say Chris, so. Tracy's like, I'm looking when you said Trace. Yeah, that my husband's name is Tracy. No problem, hair curlers and crime.
So we took a route going through, I want to say going through Eagle Road, down to the Black Canyon Highway. I remember that took you into Payette.
And when he talked about this on Brooks' panel, he all of a sudden couldn't remember the names of the roads and stuff. And here he's talking about the roads. He was wanting to deflect off of these roads as well.
By Clay Peak landfill and stuff like that. But
So y'all drove past.
Yeah, by the landfill. So they had to drive by a landfill. A lot of people have talked, speculated, and theorized of whether or not they could have done anything, trigger warning with Michael in this landfill. I don't even know if that landfill was searched or not. If anybody knows, let me know. Yeah, just a thought.
Y'all drove past the landfill.
I mean, in so many missing kids cases, you hear about them searching landfills and stuff all the time. It's heartbreaking.
What made you decide to take a different route back than you took there?
Well, anybody that's ever tows a vehicle on the tow strap knows that.
So you took interstate there, and take the back way back with the vehicle towing?
Correct.
Is that why you chose to do that? That would make probably the most sense. Yeah, because I tow trailers. A lot of times I'll take the back route, so I don't have to.
Allie's really close to Brandy, and she's saying that she doesn't believe that they ever did search that landfill. Yeah, I've never heard of them searching there either. You would think that the path that they took on the way back from CUNA, that they would have searched around that area, though. Although they did search the area, I believe, where they said that the tow strap broke.
To get on the interstate with the trailer.
So
you was just circling back a different way and you say that took you down past the landfill, all those things, and y'all was heading back. Where was y'all heading to at that point? Back home?
Yes.
Okay. So on the way back home, did y'all stop anywhere, or maybe stop, get a drink, use the bathroom?
Yes, Rizzo, that's the confession footage that's out. You can look up Monkey's Army, Stacey Wondra, and it will pop up, and he's in all orange clothing. And there's a 19-minute and a 45-minute clips to watch. Those are also two that we're going to go over again during the series of going over everything that Stacey has said.
Or any of these things on the way back?
Yeah, so we had pulled off so we made a turn, and Sarah towing the vehicle, she never towed one before. She wanted to learn, so
So you wasn't
was
driving. You was a
Uh-uh.
passenger. Okay. Did you drive there or did Sarah drive to Brandon's?
no, she drove there and back.
Oh, she drove there and back. So she had
Yeah.
never towed a vehicle at this point. So you just kind of coaching her along the way as she's pulling the vehicle.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So y'all pull off. You say you pull off somewhere else?
Yeah,
or-
because what happened is oh no, it was at a stoplight. We didn't.
it was at a stoplight, you said?
Yes.
So y'all didn't pull off and stop anywhere.
No.
Y'all just
No,
stopped at a stoplight.
Well, we did stop on the side of the road.
See, here we go again. Are you hearing this, Kelly? We and you have really talked about this. So here we go again with this toe strap and toe thing. You know, when he talked about this toe with Brooks, he got really nervous. He didn't want to talk about it. Here again, here's Dolly asking him about this toe. He's saying they stopped at a stoplight. He almost wants to deflect here of even pulling over to the side of the road, but has to admit that he did because he'd already told Brooks that they pulled over to the side of the road. Another friggin' red flag. I'm writing this down. 3303 for anybody else. 33 minutes, 3 seconds. I'm going to rewind just a little bit. It's so suspicious to me. Something happened, I feel like, here. And he just does not want and does not like to talk about this toe. He didn't even really want to talk about the roads that they were on or anything when he was on Brooks' panel. Look how he deflects here.
Yeah, because what happened is oh no, it was at a stoplight. We didn't.
Okay.
No, she drove there and back.
Oh, she drove there and back.
So Sarah drove to Cuna and back the truck. Brandon's riding in her Mercedes. Brandon's in the Mercedes that's getting towed. Yeah, it is a huge awkward. So awkward. We're going to break this one down.
So she had never towed a vehicle at this point. So you just kind of coach
Yeah, first time Sarah's ever towed anything. They do it this night.
her along the way as she's pulling the vehicle.
Yep.
Okay. So y'all pull off. You say you pull off somewhere else?
Yeah, because what
Saying that you pulled off somewhere else. And he says, yeah, because
happened is
what happened is she here he goes. He's fumbling. He's already fumbling. And he did it when Brooks asked him about it too.
oh no, it was at a stoplight.
Oh no. It was at a stoplight. So he's trying to say it was a stoplight.
We didn't.
Long pause.
It was at a stoplight, you said?
Yes.
He's like totally thinking about it and then says, yes, it was at a stoplight. But it wasn't at a stoplight. His phone actually put him off the side of the road.
So y'all didn't pull off and stop anywhere?
See, Dolly knows what he told Brooks. So y'all didn't pull off and stop anywhere is what he's asking him, because he knows he's already told Brooks that he has pulled over to the side of the road.
No.
Y'all just stopped at a stoplight.
Well, the tow we did.
No, y'all just stop and stop like, well, he is so fumbling.
Did stop on the side of the road, but that was because the tow strap snapped.
Oh.
Because there was too much slack.
Uh-huh.
Hey, give me 1 second.
Okay.
This is one of those instances where Stacey's really rude. He's got a creator sitting there. He's live. He's not giving two shits about that. he's just totally disrespecting Dolly here when he's like, wait a second. But he totally just tried to deflect away from even pulling over to the side of the road, just like he gets all uncomfortable about this tow strap breaking and pulling over to the side of the road when he was up on Brooke's panel. Yeah. And how he said that Sarah
Okay, I'm
had
back.
to pee. Brooks asked him if they stopped anywhere from Cuna to Fruitland, and instead of saying the tow strap broke and they pulled over to the side of the road, no, he said Sarah had to pee, which, what would that have to do anything? The major thing there is that they pulled over because the tow strap broke, right? So why would you even mention that Sarah had to pee? And then towards the end of that conversation, he says, and I think Sarah had to pee, as he's fumbling his words in between all of that, because he doesn't even really want to be talking about the fact that they pulled over to the side of the road to begin with.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to pick back up right where you left off. You said y'all stopped at take a red light, pulled off because the tow strap had broke. Now you get out there. Do you have another tow strap with you?
No, I just there was enough tow strap I could just tie it in a double knot. So that's what I did.
Now, how long do you think you was out there messing with that on the side of the road? Was it like a quick thing? You got out there
15 minutes, 10 minutes probably at tops.
So you were pulled over for about 10 minutes just working on the strap.
I know Sarah had gotten out of the vehicle, so she really had to take a pee, and she, you know, had to use the bathroom on the side of the road. So that's what she did.
She had to pee. They had to fix the tow strap. We know that they took pictures of a car part of the Mercedes because that was also on Stacey's phone. Really just makes you wonder why they even pulled over to the side of the road, honestly. Did the tow strap really break?
Did while I was doing that, but
did she do that right by the vehicle? Did she go in the woods?
Yeah, even though she just went pee at Brandon's house. But I don't make excuses for all of that, but she was a diabetic and so am I. We do frequent the bathroom, just saying. I'm not trying to stick up for her, but we do.
Woods and use the bathroom? Do you remember?
No, no, it was literally on the side of the road.
Oh, so she just squats and pees right there where y'all are at.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that done. I know how ladies are. Seems crazy. Some crazy.
They gotta go. They gotta go.
Yeah, true that. Okay, so at that point, you get the vehicle, you get it back strapped down. Do you remember what highway you're on at this point that you pulled off? Is it right near where the landfill or any of that stuff?
Highway 55.
Highway 55. Okay,
I think so.
So you get the vehicle fixed back up. You got it going. Did you stop once you did it to check on it again, or did you just keep moving forward with it?
No, I just kept moving forward. I knew I tied it good enough.
Okay, so at this point, from this point, you're driving straight back to your house. You're going back down.
Let's see. Brandon early on, he accidentally says they saw a car Rex night before. I thought he says he spent the night before because they towed his car that night, not the night Michael went missing. I've heard several people say that Brandon has said that before. I have personally never heard or saw that, so I'm not sure. The first JLR interview? Okay, well, I didn't even know that there was more than one, actually, to be honest. With Brandon, anyway. Hello, Shannon. Welcome in. Yeah, we're going to go over the interview Stacey did with the psychic. Oh, so she was listening, Shannon was listening to the one with the psychic lady and Brandy, and based off of it, it sounds like they may have went through Emmett, too. Nice to know. Capital Productions, I don't believe anything that they have said. We're only trying to find the truths within the lies, if it's even possible, because the lies are so much. I'm sorry, Wood Chipper. I know this is so upsetting. It's crazy. It's time for indictments to come out for sure.
Down the highway, you're getting back to where you live, correct?
Correct.
All right, so you go back in onto 8th Street. For people that are watching, 8th Street's the only way in, the only way out. At what time do you think you enter 8th Street coming back with the tow?
What time do you think we got back?
Yeah, with the tow from Brandon's house after he washed the
Oh.
clothes and you hooked up
Oh,
the
yeah, no, it was probably 9:15, 9:30 at night.
9:30 at night. Okay.
Mhm.
And he has said before it was around the time that the sun was going down, and the sun went down about 9:27 that night. So he's saying here that they got home between 9:15, 9:30. He's actually, they've said 10 o'clock. Many, many different times have been given here.
And y'all say so at 9:30 at night when you enter 8th Street, what do you see? Do you see anything unusual? Is there people in the
Yeah,
neighborhood?
when we got back, there was a shit ton of people all over.
All over, just walking around, or what were the people doing? What did you observe?
Police officers, search and rescue, just neighbors, people from the communities. I told Sarah to stop and ask what happened, and because Brandon was steering the vehicle behind us.
Uh-huh.
The
So
Mercedes.
he was actually in the vehicle you were towing?
Yes, because he had to steer it.
Oh wow. Oh wow, okay. I didn't know you was towing it like that. You literally towing it with a strap.
100%. Yeah, there was no trailer or anything.
Oh, okay. For this whole time, I'm thinking you got a trailer and you got it lifted up on a trailer.
Wood Chipper, you were so good to me. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I could not do this without all of you. I really do appreciate you so much. We're going to dance in our chairs for a moment. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate you so much. I'm late just listening. I will rewatch the beginning after. Thank you, Samantha. Baby kisses. Thank you for coming in, huh? No worries. All right. Gonna keep watching. Thank you, Wood Chipper.
And you got it strapped
Oh,
in.
no.
You're towing this vehicle with a strap and he's driving the vehicle behind you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that's old school. That's how you do it. When you live out in the middle of nowhere, when you're from the country and stuff, you just put a strap. You don't tow. Somebody in the back, somebody in the front. Person in the back's got to put on the brakes, and you better make sure those brakes are good because you're stopping the vehicle in front of you and stopping yourself.
Yeah,
I completely understand now. Okay, so you're coming in like a convoy with a car strapped to you.
Yeah. Hey, quick question for you. What's the somebody wants to join the live and watch it, where do they go?
They can go to Dolly Vision, okay, on YouTube.
Okay.
You just type in Dolly Vision, like the singer. There's two greats. Well, there's one great and there's one that ain't. I'm the one that ain't. I'm not Dolly Parton. I'm Dolly the idiot. Okay, so all they do is put in Dolly Vision and it should pull up my channel and they can click on it and watch.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. And I got to make a correction. It was Highway 52.
Highway 52 that you had pulled off to strap the car back in. So when you get into the neighborhood, you start seeing fire, search and rescue, things of this nature, people walking around the neighborhood, and you tell Sarah to pull over and ask somebody what's going on. All right, what when she pulled up to somebody, what did they?
Yeah, a paywall for a child's. Yeah, totally. I made the mistake once of I did not put it behind the paywall. I called it a members only live. It was actually like a Q&A thing on Michael Vaugh. I got attacked quite quickly by a lot of people. I didn't even have, I think at the time, maybe 2 or 3 members. So I just, members only live is what it said on my thumbnail, but me and the members had decided, since there was hardly any members, go ahead, just, you know, put it up and leave it wide open for the public. I learned quite quickly, negative. That was not a good idea. I got attacked. I am a new creator as far as like having live shows and stuff. It was not something I was expecting people to get so upset over. And now I realize why. I didn't understand what the paywall was. I didn't understand also because I called it like Michael Vaugh's trivia. People took that as like it was a game. I shouldn't be playing a game. And basically what it was is I was just going to ask a bunch of questions and have people come into chat to see if they knew the answer to Michael's case, just as a way to talk about Michael's case, see if people knew who the suspects were and all this and that. And it turned out to be a nightmare for me for about 2 hours before the live, and about 15-20 minutes as I went into the live. I changed my thumbnail. I did everything. I made an apology. So I totally agree with, and that's why I talked at the beginning of this show, how hard it's been for me being a creator that does missing children's cases, to actually come up with a live that I could put behind a paywall for my members. So I will be doing here soon how I looked into, investigated my grandmother's death. And that's going to be one of our first member only lives. But yeah, Hidden True Crime did a members only live with Stacey Wondra. I want to believe it was Jonathan that did the interview with Stacey, and it was all behind a paywall.
They say.
They asked them what was going on, and they were like, "Oh, well, a little boy has disappeared."
A little boy has disappeared. Did they say disappeared or did they say abducted? Do you remember? Can you recall?
So I know I made that mistake in the last video. I'm 99% positive it was disappeared. The abducted came later on when.
Yeah. Well, I
I
understand it's been a great amount of time that's passed, and everybody's memory is not 100% perfect ever. So if you know, they did say something. The point is, somebody came up to the vehicle and let you know that there was a disappearance or abduction of a child in the neighborhood. Okay, and then when you pull off from there, what is said in the vehicle? Like, was Sarah like, "Oh my God, I can't believe a kid is missing"?
We're just like, that's crazy.
And
we like never even heard of such a thing happening in that neighborhood.
Now, since this has happened, you know what my search and rescue things of this.
Sorry, I just wanted to for this anything as he's talking about coming into the neighborhood. I completely get it too. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, is listen to him treat Brandy like shit. You don't know how many times I wanted to just take him off panel and get rid of his ass. But man, that mama had some questions for Stacey. I didn't want to upset her by kicking him off. She was dealing with him. So all I could do was just keep my mouth shut. There were a few times I had to tell him to watch it, but it was literally the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I was so angry.
This nature, people walking around the neighborhood, and you tell Sarah to pull over and ask somebody what's going on. All right, what when she pulled up to somebody, what did they say?
They asked them what was going on, and they were like, "Oh, well, a little boy has disappeared."
A little boy has disappeared. Did they say disappeared or did they say abducted? Do you remember? Can you recall?
So I know I made that mistake in the last video. I'm 99% positive it was disappeared. The
Disappeared.
abduction came later on when
Yeah. Well, I
everything went down.
understand it's been a great amount of time that's passed, and everybody's memory is not 100% perfect ever.
Mhm.
So, if they did say something. The point is, somebody came up to the vehicle and let you know there was a disappearance or abduction of a child in the neighborhood. Okay, and then when you pull off from there, what is said in the vehicle? Like, was Sarah like, "Oh my God, I can't believe a kid is missing"?
We're just like, that's crazy.
Uh-huh.
And we like never even heard of such a thing happening in that neighborhood.
Now, since this has happened, you know what Michael Vaugh looks like, right? Had you ever seen Michael Vaugh in that neighborhood before?
Not a day in my life. Never even heard the name, never heard of the family, never even knew he existed.
Okay. How long exactly did you live in that neighborhood? Can I ask you that?
June of 2020 till I got arrested. Till she got arrested.
Okay. Now, you get back, you're coming back, y'all are like, okay, this kid's been, either vanished or he's been abducted, and you go back to the house, your house, correct? When you get to the house, what goes on then?
Sarah and Brandon took off to go help look for him, and I stayed home because at that time I pulled around the long way of our road. The other so you could take a left on Mallard Street, which is where Sarah's parents live, the street that they live on, and that road will lead you around to Red Wing Street. So I did it that way because I wasn't trying to block the road. So
yeah,
but I knew I needed to get the car unmounted from
either vanished or he's been abducted, and you go back to the house, your house, correct?
Which is where Sarah's parents live, the street that they live on, and that road will lead you around to Red Wing Street. So I did it that way because I wasn't trying to block the road. So
yeah,
but I knew I needed to get the car unmounted from the truck because I was taking up the length of the street.
yeah. You're not far from where you were at. You're not far from the bend in the road either, are you?
No, not at all.
Okay, I understand exactly where you're at. Okay, so you go back to the house. The truck is big with the two cars hooked, so you've got to figure, hey, you're taking up everything. You want to disconnect those to clear up some space on the road.
Correct.
So at this point, how long do you think Brandon and Sarah went in the house before they decided to go, okay, well, let's go look for Michael?
They never went to the house. They never went in the house. They went straight walking to go look for him.
So they never went. So you sat there disconnected in the trailer. They left, went walk.
And see, Brandon says they were looking around in a car, him and Sarah. They weren't out on foot. They were in a car, Sarah's car, out driving around. Stacey's saying there's no way they could have been taking Sarah's car because the driveway is completely blocked with the truck and the tow. He's disconnecting everything. They don't even go inside the house. They walk to look for Michael. Two different stories.
Walking, looking for a monkey.
Correct.
How long do you think they were gone out looking for Michael?
About an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half.
Wow, I've never heard that he actually says that they were out walking around for an hour and a half. So he is, whether they were on foot or, in a vehicle, whatever the story is it true that Brandon and Sarah went away from the house an hour and a half? Where would they have gone? What were they doing?
Okay, so they come back. You're there. What are they talking about at this point? And at this point, y'all haven't seen Adrian since the beginning of this day, right? Since he left early that morning. There had been no more contact with the Adrian guy.
You're gonna have to hold on a second. I'm waiting on the Amber Alert.
Oh, okay.
There's an Amber Alert that just
I'm just looking through chat real quick. Yeah, Stacy's not going out walking around looking for anybody. See here, he says they went looking last time. They didn't look. Yeah.
went out, so you know.
Okay, do you want to read it out to us since you're here?
I don't even know how to pull it up.
Oh,
I could have read it, but it was making that loud buzzing sound. So
yeah. Okay, so at this point, they've been gone for about an hour and a half.
I just want to put out Brandy Neal is a force to reckon with. She had him by his balls. She took full control of this loser. Brandy Neal is the beast, so keep it up. She's going to get justice for Michael. Exactly. And we are going to stand behind her 100% the entire time. Never going to stop.
Right. And they come back home. And what is their demeanor?
Right, Jemima? Just like going out, seeing what the word on the street was, seeing what everybody was saying while they were out walking around, talking to people, see if they had any leads or anything about where this, child that was abducted could have been, where Michael could have been.
When they come back, do they talk to you about them searching or what's going on? Do you ask them any questions about what's going on?
what do you mean, Brandon and Sarah?
Yeah, like
I think that he's so calm during this interview. Not that he's scared of Dolly. I just think, after all of the other interviews that he's done, he's just like, like he just doesn't care. I think he wanted and craved the attention. He liked getting the attention. Even if it was good or bad, it doesn't matter. If you remember, like growing up, he didn't have a lot of friends. A lot of people made fun of him for being big, being teased and stuff his whole life, in and out of boys' homes. Even his mom that adopted him sent him off to go live somewhere else. He felt like nobody wanted him. And I really think that being up on panels was something he enjoyed doing.
Like when they come back, like you'd be like, did you find them? Like if he was out searching for something.
Yeah,
like
just general questions. Yeah, absolutely. Ask if they saw anything.
And can you recall what they had said to you? Or anything close maybe that you can remember from it?
Pretty sure they just said that they didn't, nobody's found anything.
That nobody found them. Now, at this point, had like I don't want to jump too far ahead. So at this point, the search continues in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
All right. At some point in that search, there is a flyer that appears on your refrigerator in your house of Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now did Sarah get really into looking for Monkey? Like did she go out daily looking for him? Was she posting this picture on the internet? Was she doing any of these types of things? Did you see it with?
Yeah, maybe Ink. Like Ink says, I think he thinks Dolly is gonna trip him up, so he's being careful with not being so jumpy with his words. And Dolly did. He did trip him up. He got Stacey to admit that the child that Stacey said he saw was standing in the yard at the neighbor's house across the street from the field. Huge. I mean, it's the one and only time anybody can get Stacey to admit that the child was in a yard on Arizona, and that's in the same location around where we believe that Michael was allegedly abducted from.
Was overly done or anything? Like all of a sudden she had this interest in this. Did she ever have interest in missing kids before?
Yeah, I mean, we cared for him. You know what I mean? Like, we just didn't.
We cared for him. What is that? He's talking about missing children, and he was like, we cared for them. Like him.
It was overly done or anything, like all of a sudden she had this interest in this? Did she ever have interest in missing kids before?
Yeah, I mean, we cared for them. You know what I mean? Like, we just didn't go look for other missing kids that have gone missing. There wasn't a whole lot of that going on. Like this is kind of unheard of for us here.
Yeah, for the area. Yeah, I agree with
Mhm.
that. Don't seem like that would happen too much right in the area that you're in. Okay.
Mhm.
So now did Sarah get
He's going to ask Stacey if Sarah ever got into heavily looking for Michael. Were they into, missing children, whatnot? And then he says, we cared about him. I'm rewinding right now.
really into looking for Monkey? Like did she go out daily looking for him? Was she posting this picture on the internet? Was she doing
yeah.
any of these types of things? Did you seem it was overly done or anything, like all of a sudden she had this interest in this? Did she ever have interest in missing kids before?
Here it comes. We cared about him.
Yeah, I mean, we cared for him. You know what I mean?
We cared for him, actually, is what he says. Yeah, I mean, we cared for sounds like he's saying him. It comes up on the closed caption as them. But let's see. Let's get what he says right here. Listen.
It was overly done or anything, like all of a sudden she had this interest in this? Did she ever have interest in missing kids before?
Yeah, I mean, we cared for him. You know what I mean? Like,
we cared for him. Even though closed caption spells it out, them, we cared for him, is what I'm hearing.
we just didn't go look for other missing
Definitely
kids
a
that have
slip.
gone missing. There wasn't a whole lot of that going on. Like this is kind of unheard of for us here.
Yeah, for the area. Yeah, I agree with
Mhm.
that. Don't seem like that would happen too much right in the area that you're in.
Sure.
So her behavior didn't seem unusual to you whatsoever during the disappearance while they were looking for Michael.
Exactly, Ink. He touches his faces. That's a sign that you aren't being honest. I mean, I wasn't even paying attention to. Let's see.
Forehead. So at this point, the search continues, and can you recall what they had said to you? He's in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
All right. It was overly done or anything, like all of a sudden she had this interest in this? Did she ever have interest in missing kids before?
Gonna watch his facial expressions right here as he says, we care for him. We cared for him.
I mean, we cared for him. You know what I mean? Like, we just didn't go look for other missing kids that have gone missing. There wasn't a whole lot of that going on.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of that going on, too. The words that he uses after he says it are even weird. Touching his face, rubbing his eyes, closing his eyes.
Like this is kind of unheard of for us here.
Yeah, for the area. Yeah, I agree with
Mhm.
that. Don't seem like that would happen too much right in the area that you're in.
Sure.
So her behavior didn't seem unusual to you whatsoever during the disappearance while they were looking for Michael.
Okay,
Did you
say
hear
that again. I'm sorry.
So her behavior did not seem odd whatsoever after Michael Monkey Bond went missing.
No.
Okay. Now, has she always been a highly religious person?
She claimed she was, yeah.
But I mean, before the time, would you think like things she were posting or things like that, she got overly at some point religious? I hate to say that because Christian people are gonna be like, how do you get over religious? But I mean, where you're just God this, Jesus this. Was she in that type of state of mentality?
After he went missing, yeah.
Okay, so but before that, she wasn't like gung ho, like Bible thumping. I hate to say that. I'm gonna get beat up by Christian people later, you know. But I mean, so her behavior changed just a little bit to a little more relief. Okay, that's understandable. Now at some point, did you have a falling out with these people? Because I don't want to get into too much, but there's people that's been, you know, I can't give out my sources, but there's people that have been saying things that kind of been pointing the finger at you. Is there a reason that like did you have a falling out with Brandon? Did you have a falling out with Adrian? And why would these people at any point try to think you have something to do with this or be indicating that you do?
Blows my mind.
So give me a little leeway of what happens after the Michael goes missing. Like what goes on with you and your wife at this point in Brandon? Do y'all just normal day, everyday life? And what falls apart that leads to where we're at now? That's the piece that I'm missing, if you could fill me in on.
What do you mean what falls apart?
Like at some point in what is it, 2022, you go to jail for possession of that firearm, and you got, of course, Brandon out here giving interviews on YouTube and saying things, you know, still people are saying things still allegedly, you know, that they had evidence that somebody had spoke to them. Now, I don't want to get too far ahead because I want to kind of know where did y'all fall? Did everything kind of go south when you went to jail for the gun? Would you consider, let me ask you this. Would you consider yourself friends with Brandon and Adrian right now? Or has y'all? Okay. So your friendship at some point has ended.
Oh, I thought I would have still had a friendship before I got out of jail, but when I started finding out they were talking all this shit on me, fuck them.
Okay.
Scandalous bastards, dude.
So when you went to jail, you were still friends with these people. Okay, so time you get out of jail, they've done, you know, said things to the police, and they've said things to multiple YouTubers. I know that for a fact. And they, you know, okay. Now, at some point, a tip is called in to the Fruitland police. Okay. And people are telling me that this tip was called in to the Fruitland police by you. Is that true?
About the backyard, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
See, he does not say that when he's on Brooke's panel. Dolly actually got him to mention and talk about the tip being him, and little did everybody know, all of the creators and everything else, or maybe they did know, I don't know, but when I started looking in on the case, there was actually a newspaper clipping that said it was Stacey Wondra who gave the tip early on. But nobody started talking about this tip until way later. So here he's finally admitting that it was him that gave the tip. And of course, we've all seen the footage and the tip, and because he's like true about the backyard. And he says, yeah, okay. So yeah, his confession and footage where he's telling law enforcement where Michael is and where he's buried in the backyard. He had no clue that Michael had been moved already. And yeah, I mean, like, I think he just wanted to get a deal before anything else, you know, went down, before somebody else said something. He called law enforcement to come to where he was in jail to tell them there was, you know, to give them the tip.
I know this is going to seem a little strange, and I know
he really is. He's being... Dolly did an amazing interview, I think.
This, you know what question I'm about to ask you is, why did you call this tip in about the backyard?
I didn't call it in. I was being interrogated
And then he turns around and lies. He gives the truth, and then he says, then he's going to go off about being interrogated 4 or 5 days. They were being mean to me. So I just all of a sudden, fine, I know where Michael is. No, that is not how this went down. He told them, come talk to me at the jail. I'm going to give you guys a tip about Michael. That's how that all went down. No long drawn out interrogation or nothing. I mean, I'm sure there's an interrogation because he's given a tip, but they weren't being mean to him or anything else. You can see in the confession footage that everything's going smoothly. Everybody was treating him just fine. And yeah, it was video recorded and we saw it, but I don't think law enforcement was being shitty to him. I just don't believe that at all.
And being pressured and literally to the point of in tears. Like I told everybody.
Oh yeah, I believe it was a slip up too.
Even the police and everything. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have had nothing to do with this. I don't even know who this little boy was, or I mean, I can't say is because we've all heard who he is, but
Yeah.
Well, he couldn't get the deal that he wanted because Michael had been moved. If they would have found Michael, I 100% believe Stacey would have gotten a deal. From what I understand, the deal I think Stacey said at one point it was going to be 7 to 14 years or something like, I don't know. I've heard 7 to 14 years or something like that. Don't quote me. And I'm pretty sure that Brandy has said, even here recently, that she would be willing to help any of these 4 suspects if one of them came forward and told her where Michael was, that she would help them get some kind of a deal. Because the Vaugh family wants Michael. Where is he? They want him home. Even though she knows that these people are monsters and murdered her son, they are still willing at this time to give one of these 4 suspects a deal. If you have any tips, 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is too small. You can remain anonymous, and there is a reward for over $52,000 for anybody leading law enforcement to Michael Vaugh.
Okay.
sorry.
They had never questioned you about the disappearance of Michael Monkey Vaugh until you went to jail on unrelated charges, correct?
Correct.
So you was already incarcerated. You're in the cell. What did detective send somebody to get you from the cell to speak with you?
Yeah, I mean it was so
what originally do you know what originally tipped them off to you? Do you know that?
No.
Okay, but at some point you give them a tip. Well, we're going to get to that. But at this point you're arrested. They're calling you into question you about the Michael Monkey Vaugh, and just tell us how the interrogation goes, because I know you just jumped into that, but I want everybody to understand the timeline of this. So this is after you're arrested, you're on unrelated charges, detectives come and get you, and they say what to you?
No, this started out questioning me about because this is when they transported me and Sarah in separate vehicles from Fayette County to Meridian to the ISP, which is Idaho State Police, and they started out questioning me of, was this the Bentley you owned and you sold? And I said, yeah. And then he went directly into this missing boy and tried to say that I knew something about it and tried to pinpoint me. And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but I'm not that person. And then he started to pressure me more. And I was like, fine. I said, let's do it this way. Let's do a polygraph test. And so he's like, you want to do a polygraph test? You're willing to submit to it? I said, absolutely. And so Sarah,
so they bring you in, you agree to it, you take the test. Okay, go ahead.
So Sarah, Brendan, and I all got polygraph tests in 3 different.
Let me ask you this real quick.
Something that I thought about after one of the lives that we did last week He keeps saying him, Sarah, and Brandon all got polygraph tests and that he was the only one that passed. But what about Adrian? If Adrian was at the house, why doesn't he ever talk about Adrian getting a polygraph test? And one of the questions that I should have asked Brandon is if he ever took a polygraph test, and I didn't. I need to ask you that, Brandon. Text me and tell me if you have taken a polygraph test. And yes, Brandon or Brandy knows that I have been texting with Brandon. Please don't bother Brandy with any messages. She gets a lot of messages.
I hate to back you up. At this point, what is Sarah in jail for? And what do they have Brandon for? Why?
Yeah, he never defends Adrian. And he never really mentions Adrian unless somebody asks him about Adrian.
Why would they just bring them in?
Because we were named person of interest.
Okay. Was that from a tip line call?
Yeah, he does. He always says he only knows where he, Sarah, and Brandon were. Thank you, Zane, for coming in.
Do you know?
This is what they told us. I don't know.
Okay. Is it possible that Adrian could have tipped them off to something? You know, maybe gave them a false tip?
I guess. I don't know.
Okay. So
Adrian knows some pretty sketchy people. I wouldn't be surprised if they're all scared of Adrian. If you, have watched some of my past lives on Adrian and the people that he knows hanging out with gang members and stuff out of Twin Falls, and those gang members are affiliated and connected to S trafficking and stuff, like Adrian is definitely got some connections to some pretty bad people.
they start accusing you of having something to do with the disappearance of Michael Vaugh, and you tell them you'll take the lie detector test. At this point, they have Brandon, they have Sarah, and do all three of you take a test?
Yeah, and it wasn't a retinol test or a retina test. It was literally a lie detector, like your regular one.
Yeah, that they hook up to you. They're checking your pulse rate, your heart rate, that type of stuff. Okay, and did you pass that lie detector test, or do you know?
I did. I was the only one out of the 3 people to pass that.
Now, why, if you're telling the truth about that night, okay, and they were with you that night, why would they fail the lie detector test and you pass it?
Mind blows me. I don't know.
Great question, Dolly. If they were all doing what they said that they were doing, why would Stacey pass and Brandon and Sarah not pass?
I have no answers to that.
All right. So you take the test.
The neighbors next to Brandy and Tyler, the one who apparently walked Monkey back to his mailbox, knows Carson Starkey, Stacey, and Sarah's next door neighbor. Yep.
You come back truthful, and then what transpires from there?
And they did a couple more.
How would he know that he was the only one to pass? Did they all three discuss it? Not sure if they all three discussed it, but he said something on Brooks' panel about how his mom told him that law enforcement had told her that he was the only one that passed it.
That was in May that they questioned me, so they didn't come question me again and interrogate me until November. Saying that they had more information. They're saying that I knew more information, which I didn't. But
he actually says that they did the lie detector test in May of 2022, months prior to him actually giving his confession of where Michael was in the backyard.
That's when I tipped him off and gave him that false the false tip.
Okay,
Because I
what?
was so overly pressured, and it sounds absolutely stupid, and I know it does, but I was way too under pressure. I was being interrogated.
Now he's going to talk about being in under pressure and everything else, to the point where he cracked and was like, oh my God, I'll tell you where he is. I'll tell you. He was buried in the backyard of our house. That's not how this went down, people.
For something I didn't do, and they kept telling me, "Oh, you know where he is. You know where you buried him." No, I don't. I said, "But," and then I was like, "Fine." I was, then I broke down. I was like,
True, Jemima, like maybe he was telling the truth and telling it all in his questions that he took if he did do a polygraph test. So if he did, was he telling, yeah, if he told the truth about everything and started throwing people under the bus during his polygraph test, that would be the only one and only way he could have passed, right? Unless he's such a great liar that he believes everything that he says.
"You know what? Fine. I made it up 100%, and I told them that he was in the backyard, which I knew he wasn't, because if he was, they would have found him."
Okay, so
And of course, he says that he would, he knew he wasn't. He later goes on to talk about how it was a false tip, and we'll be going over that interview sometime this week too.
okay, tell me what you told the police in your tip, if you would. Like, what did you call in and say? What was exactly the tip?
I didn't call in.
Dolly has some kind of inside scoop, knowing that he called law enforcement. He has tried to get Stacey to say that he called law enforcement. I don't even know how many times in this interview. He's trying really, really hard here. And he's saying, I didn't call in, but he did. We even played the recording when Hot Mess came up on my panel, because Stacey told Hot Mess, no, I called them. I told them to come here and talk to them.
I mean, what did you tell them that was the tip? What was your, like, hey, the baby's in the backyard?
He was buried in the backyard, correct.
But you gave no, like, segue into that? You did.
Yeah, we saw the confession video, the footage. We know what his reaction was when they did not find Michael. Like, it was not sitting well with him at all. He wanted that deal.
They said the baby's in the backyard. They didn't ask you how the baby got in the backyard.
Mm-mm.
They just said, okay, the baby's in the backyard, and they went and did all that stuff and dug up the backyard and things of that nature.
Yep.
How good do you know your neighbors?
Right. Why would Stacey and Sarah say it was in the backyard if he wasn't? I mean, as soon as they come November 11th of 2021 with the warrant and walk in the house, Sarah's already throwing people under the bus. She said that he was buried in the backyard, that Stacey buried him, and even said that Adrian is the one who hurt Michael. She said that the Almighty God told her that Stacey did it. She even says that Michael was buried in Carson's backyard. She was throwing everybody under the bus, but she was saying that she didn't have anything to do with any of it.
How good?
Yeah, like, you know your neighbors? Are you friendly with your
Carson?
neighbors?
I talk to Carson at least once a week.
Okay, once a week. What about the neighbor on the other side of you? Who do you know the neighbor on the far side of you? Okay, so you know the neighbor Carlson. Did he ever work for you or anything of that nature?
I had him do some mechanic work for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when they pulled that rag up out of the yard, he freaked out. Yeah, what is this rag that they found in the backyard got to do with whatever? Because he did not like them finding that rag. A red rag.
Okay. So he was like an auto mechanic?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. So now you go to jail, you give them the false lead. Okay. Now, do you know what Sarah has been saying?
Once he had heard that Sarah was starting to say something, he said he has all the specifics, not Sarah. He was afraid he was going to lose that deal to Sarah. I absolutely 100% agree with you, Kelly. And now they're both sitting behind bars. Do you guys think anybody's talking right now? I think they're talking.
Her information, according to, from what I've understood, is not accurate. When the detectives came and interrogated me again in November, they played a bunch of video or voice clips from the detectives talking to like Sarah's foster mom and Sarah's parents and all it was.
Never heard this before. He listened to voice clips of Sarah's parents, foster mom and Sarah's parents. Taking a note of that.
Was as well. Sarah told us that he may have been part of the disappearance. But
says disappearance instead of abduction. So Sarah's parents are saying that Sarah said Stacey was a part of this.
there was nothing. There's nothing concrete.
Yeah, so she went to somebody just spreading rumors, false rumors, and they reported it to the police, and them rumors included you. So now, let me ask.
I love how Dolly makes him feel comfortable by calling it rumors here, agreeing with Stacey, just like a detective would do to keep Stacey talking.
You this question is, now when you was hanging out with the Adrian guy, how did you meet him?
It was a taxi customer that Sarah called me about.
Okay, so now, not to get too personal either, was Sarah sleeping with this man?
Yep.
Okay, so she was sleeping with him. Was you okay with the relationship with Adrian and Sarah?
I didn't know they were.
Oh, so that was, she found out that after the fact. Okay. Yep. So she was just getting her freak on with a little bit of everybody. Okay. So you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, Stacey. You know, you give them an inch. All right. Let me ask you this. So you remember that?
Exactly, Moonlight Soul Path. Thank you for coming in, by the way. Yeah, he also says that he gave the tip and that Ellie never came back and spoke to him again. They left him alone, so it worked. Yet he just said when they talked to him again in November. Nice catch. Well, it was November when he gave the tip also. But he does say they never talked to him again. Matter of fact, he's released later on in November. And I wonder if they release him a little bit early because they want to follow him and see where he goes and what he does. Because they're really wanting to find Michael at this point.
Brandon was wearing shorts that day. And he was probably wearing maybe a t-shirt or something of that nature. So it was a night. It was a warm day. Okay. Now, have you ever known Brandon to be walking through that neighborhood? Did he walk around when he came over? Or did he just sit in the house? Do you ever go take a walk or?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. So he would be known to walk around the neighborhood a little bit. Things. What about Adrian when he came over? How was he? Did he just chill? Did he just roam the neighborhood or?
He would just chill.
Okay. Now,
most of the time.
How do you know Adrian is involved in the type of things that you detectives told you this when they were interrogating you that you were hanging out with a bad guy? Correct. But at the time you didn't know he was a bad guy.
Not at all.
You just met him through whatever, like a ride share type thing.
Do they make eye sanitizer or ear sanitizer? I mean, I've had enough of Stacey Wondra after going over all of these, and I've already gone over these hours and hours and hours before. Like, even though we're catching things, it's so hard to sit and watch them eat and chew and do all these things. And I'm not trying to fat shame at all. I'm a big girl, but just saying it's gross to sit and watch. And he's just so foul.
And Now, what made you start really like bringing him around? You know, like like a
In the bring him around, Sarah wanted to help him out with a place to live
uh-huh.
because Adrian, I guess, gave her a sob story, and Sarah called me about it and asked how I felt about it. I told her, I was like, I don't think it's a good idea. I said, we don't even know who this guy is, and I'm not okay with it.
Okay.
But she did it anyways.
Well, she did it anyway. She just okay. So at this point, you got basically Brandon living with you. Okay, you got Adrian living with you. Did you ever have any other roommates prior to that, like right before that?
Oh, we let people stay, occasionally, but not roommates, no.
Okay. Who was the last person to stay with you before Brandon and Adrian?
I don't
remember. You don't remember? Okay, I know that's a good while ago. And like I said, I noticed the detectives told you that this man was into these types of things. Did they tell you anything else that may, lead us in the right direction?
They informed me that Dorothy was incarcerated as sex offenders, but
okay, so after you do the tip, you call them in, they dig up the backyard, they do all this, and they don't find Monkey.
He does it again after you called in the tip. They come and see, like he really wants Stacey to say you called it in. He knows, Dolly knows, because it is a fact that he called law enforcement to the jail.
What did they come back and say to you?
They haven't talked to me since.
They haven't talked to you since. So at some point
they sit there, they talk to him, he gives the tip, he says all that stuff, but they don't come. I just don't believe that law enforcement didn't ever come back and talk to him again after what he said.
Had to come to the conclusion they
especially after not finding Michael.
Knew you were lying. Have you ever worried that could come back to bite you in the butt a little bit?
Yep. If it does, it does. I reap what I sow. But
yeah. Let me ask you one major thing, and I don't. What do you think has happened in this situation? Like, I know this is just hypothetical. What in your mind can you imagine transpired in your neighborhood that day?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you think happened?
What do you
mean?
Do
you think somebody killed?
What do you mean? What does he mean? He knows exactly what Dolly is asking. He's even hypothetical. I mean, Brooks even said hypothetical because we just wanted to hear him say and talk and say something, right, about Michael or what he thinks might have happened because you want to find some kind of truth in it. We are almost done with this. It's a shorter one, so we're going to be able to get all the way through this one, and then we've got many others to go over this week. I don't know a lot about people that can get away with giving a false confession to police officers about a missing child and not have any repercussions. Exactly, Callie. Like, first of all, law enforcement knows it wasn't a false confession because they found evidence that Michael was buried in the backyard. So there's that. And if they had not found any evidence of Michael being in that backyard, you can't just give a false confession without having, to pay some kind of repercussions. It's just impossible. You're going to get charged with something. You can't just tell police officers, I think a child that was abducted was buried in my backyard. You can't.
Kidnapped him? Did he fall into the river? Did,
I don't have any response to that. I don't know. I don't even want to speculate.
Yeah. Okay. And you never noticed nothing strange about any of the occurrences that were going on. Have you seen the pictures from of the guy walking on the sidewalk in front of the splash pad?
No.
You've never seen the picture of the man that was a suspect in the disappearance of Michael Vaugh that was walking on the splash pad?
No.
Okay. I don't have that. right handy to pull up to show you. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick for you, Stacey. There was a man, and he was caught on CCTV, and he was wearing shorts, tennis shoes, and a white T-shirt the same day that Michael Monkey Vaugh went missing. My question is that man, is it possible this man could be Brandon walking through the neighborhood?
Yes, exactly, Sarah. They also saw we can work with, okay, I never can say this word. Gonna try again. Anomalies. Oh my God, I did it again. I can't ever say that word. Yeah, they found the anomalies in the backyard too. Before digging, proving the ground had been disrupted. And yeah, that's where the dirt, it isn't compacted anymore. You can tell something's been dug. The dirt's been moved in some way, shape, or form. So they know and have evidence of Michael being in the Wondra's backyard.
Neighborhood, because this picture was shot earlier that day. It wasn't around the time that Michael went missing, but it was a gentleman walking through the neighborhood. And I'm just curious, is that gentleman possibly could be Brandon taking a walk? Not possible. Okay. All right. So let me see.
It is really aggravating to just watch Stacey be so whatever, right? Chill and relaxed and like, we ain't talking really about nothing. Just a missing child, just, an abducted child that you, Stacey Wondra, had something to do with. And he really just doesn't give two shits, does he, about what he's done?
See if there's anything else that I wanted to ask you to clear up real quick. Okay, so then when Brandon came back out of the house from washing clothes, did he bring the duffel bag back with him? Did he bring the wet clothes back with him that night? So the duffel bag that he took to his mother.
See, now we're going to talk about this duffel bag again because Dolly has more questions. And he actually gets Stacey to talk about the next day. If I remember correctly through clips that I've seen of this, he gets Stacey to admit that somebody goes back to the house the next day in Kuna, which we know of because of the confession footage. Chris Madonna straight up says, well, you told us they went back to the house the next day. Why did they bring him back here? Talking about going and getting Michael from Kuna and coming back to the Wondra's house with Michael. And he doesn't say whether Michael's dead or alive, but it almost sounds like with an unalive Michael, right? So Dolly does amazing here. Let's really pay attention to what's going on, like in this conversation here.
House. He left at his mom's house to close, and he just basically went in, changed, washed those clothes. Okay. Now, had you talked to your wife since you've been accused, since they accused you of these things? Not that you've done it, but since they accused you of it, have you had a chance to talk to Sarah at all?
She had called me a few times. She called me the other night actually, and I literally laid into her. I was like, "Oh, Olive, come on." I had told her pretty much that I was done with it, and I'm not going to give her any. Not even. I mean, I contemplated maybe trying to, figure things out, but
how long had you been? I know you must have been with her. Have you been with her for a long time before this transpired? How long have y'all been together? I don't know. That might seem like
it'll be 6 years. 6 years in April.
Oh, okay. So yeah, y'all been. That's almost like being married in a lot of states. So y'all pretty.
Oh, we are married.
We are married. That's right. 6 years. Oh, that's right. Her last name is Wondra. That's right. Okay, so you have spoke with her. Has she spoken to you saying, "Hey, I can't believe they're accusing me of this"?
Oh
Mike?
yeah, all the time.
And remember, Stacy and Sarah were talking every single day up until this last time he was arrested and put back in jail back in December of 2024, right before the new year. Just a couple of days before, I want to say it was the 23rd of December. It was just a couple of days before Christmas. I mean, they were still talking all the time.
And what does she say? That she has nothing to do with it? Fill me in a little bit on.
Typical stories, yeah.
She
I
said
just
this.
can't believe it. I'm so appalled, and I just don't even care to really talk to her. Like I just and she won't ever go into specifics. She's too smart for that. She's not dumb.
Now
she's not going to ever go into specifics. She's too smart. She's not dumb. And she tries very hard to deflect away from it all, using even her mental illness, I feel. The way you see her in court tell the judge and roll her eyes even that she didn't do anything and that it wasn't true.
Now, somebody asked in the chat, if it was to come out that one of your friends had something to do with this, would you testify against that person to what information you had that day?
What do you mean?
Like, that's what's the question. I didn't ask. I would have to, the question was in the chat was, if one of your friends ended up being responsible for this, like say it's Brandon that did something bad or Adrian that did something bad, would you be willing to testify against them, your friends? Which you say ain't your friends right now, because apparently they...
Hell no. They aren't even, I wouldn't look at them as a friend, but in order to testify, you have to have firsthand knowledge, and I don't, so...
Even though on Brooks' panel, the last interview that he did with her that we went over let's see, it was Friday, he says that he would testify in court and he would tell them what he knew and give his side of the story in his own perspective. And here he's saying exactly what I said. In order to testify, you have to have firsthand knowledge, and I don't, he's saying. But he did in that fourth interview with Brooks.
I can't testify. I'm not going to testify and lie. You know what I mean? On shit that I don't know. So no, I won't.
I mean, but you would testify to the timeline that you gave, right?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, that's basically what we're saying. Just the timeline of the same story you're telling us. You can't tell something you don't know. Of course, we know. How you gonna be like, yeah, I would. You can only tell what information you know, and you're openly been sharing information with us, and I think that is great because these dudes are hiding and they're putting out information and they're kind of pointing the finger at you. But at least you're opening up to come up here, open up for questions, tell what happened that day, and you're not hiding from it. And I think that shows a lot. Okay, a lot. Is there anything else you want to say to the viewers? That you didn't do this, that this is all just a misunderstanding by the police or anything of that nature? Is there anything you want to leave the viewers with tonight?
I just want to thank you all for, coming on the live, and, I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Eve, who's also been a really good support to me, and, I've been a really good person that's been helping me go through my troubles, and a huge shout out to you, Dolly Vision here, and just want to say you guys are doing amazing. You guys keep doing what you're doing, and I hope justice gets found for Michael.
One last thing before I let you go, like during this whole process, there was a point that y'all did take a trip together, you and your wife, maybe to Texas or something of that nature.
Yep.
Okay. What reason did y'all go to Texas? Just curious.
To go literally pick up a dog for Amy Church, who is a resident of Idaho.
Oh, okay. So y'all did that as a job, like a odd job.
We're not paid for it.
Oh, he didn't mention me because my interview with him was just a few months back before he went to jail. He was actually arrested I want to say 3 or 4 days after he came up on panel and talked to Brandy. It was in December. I was the last person to do any interview with Stacey on panel.
We got paid $1,400
to drive to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, to
Go
pick
pick
up
up the dog. Yeah.
Hey, that ain't bad. So y'all just drove down there, grabbed a dog, came back. How long was y'all gone to Texas?
I think probably 5 days. It takes like 3 getting down there.
Yeah, I've only been to Texas one time. I've only been there once. It looked big. It's big and scary to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I ain't used to big ass places that many people. You know, I was in the airport and I think Houston or something, and just like my anxiety kicked in. You know, does Sarah, does she suffer from any kind of anxiety, different anything of that nature?
She had to have. I mean, I knew something was off with her when I married her, but
yeah,
I didn't know she was that far off. Holy
yeah,
shit.
let me ask you this, not to keep backtracking. The stabbing herself with the pins in between the finger things is
Yeah, that was all pen ink. That was all.
I caught that much. Does she have a lot of nervous twitches like that?
No,
because I would consider that a nervous twitch of somebody.
Yeah, no, she does that when she gets anxiety a lot. Gets under stress, but
do both.
Dolly's sitting here asking him if she has any anxiety. He's no, 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 no. Brings up the fingers, and then he says she does this when she gets anxiety a lot, gets under stress. I mean, he doesn't even realize that he just got done telling Dolly she doesn't suffer from any anxiety.
Both of y'all suffer from anxiety, or just her?
I did struggle with anxiety. I suffer from it sometimes, but I have all my shit under control. You know, I did.
Yeah.
I was in group homes from 11 to 23, and every bit of me is 100% like I know how to handle my shit. You know what I mean? Like I learned to cope different ways more so than other people would know how to do. So I don't get the same anxiety that she does. It's I handle my things way differently than she handles hers.
Okay, so today, Stacey, you're telling us you're 100% without a doubt have nothing to do with the disappearance of Michael Monkey Vaugh.
1,000,000%, not even 100%.
1,000,000%. But the confession footage will come out and he tells law enforcement exactly where to dig in his backyard. 1,000,000%.
And you would testify to the timeline you gave to where your friends were at that day.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you could say something to the family, what would you say to the family?
I would say that I want justice for him. I want him to be
his name is Michael, Stacey.
I want him to be found, and my prayers go out to that family and the loved ones around him.
That family.
And just want justice for him. I want this come to end. He needs to be home. He deserves to be reunited with his family.
Okay, one more thing. Now there are what they're saying some indictments that may come down the line. Are you worried that with what these people are out here saying, spreading on the internet, and I'm going to let you know they're spreading some things on the internet, that they may involve you in this indictment that is about to come down the pipe?
If they do, they do. And all I can say is when I fight it and I take it to the box and I win at trial, they're looking at a gigantic multi-million-dollar lawsuit. And I already have lawyers lined up. So
okay.
He really thinks he's going to get away with this, doesn't he, guys? He seriously thinks that he's going to get away. Now, earlier, they talked about the duffel bag and Brandon going in to wash clothes. So I'm wanting to rewind a little bit. I want to see.
Get a TV now, so
We
Yeah.
really never had a TV, so
Was there anything? I guess this would have been before you went. I guess this would have been before you went, or would have put you on. That's why your video and you was it was consensual that you gave her
not like we sat there and talked about it.
area. I'll show it to you
Mhm.
guys on the map in a little bit. Okay,
I'm sorry. Yeah, we did stop at
during the day.
5:15, but I think
8th Street.
Mhm.
Did you take a right? Which way did you
when
take?
we left any a human in it at all.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way that. Okay, so y'all didn't stop anywhere in between the trip. Y'all
No.
drove straight over to Brandon's, and that was his mother's.
Because I wanted to talk about something earlier, and then it never got talked about. Something was going on in chat, so I'm just rewinding to this one spot here where he is talking about washing the clothes and Brandon and the duffel bag.
House, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did Brandon have anything with him?
He had his duffel bag full of clothes, but it was small. It wasn't even a huge duffel bag. It was tiny.
Like, what do you consider tiny? Like a book
I
bag
mean,
size, or big enough to fit?
Take
skate-
like a small duffel bag, had the little hand straps on it, but not near big enough to put any a human in it at all.
Okay.
He's not even asked that. He's just asked about a duffel bag. And he says, but not near big enough to put a human in it at all. He literally brings up this duffel bag and putting somebody in a duffel bag. And this is him again freely giving up some information when he hasn't even been asked. He just.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way that he could have stuffed a small child
No.
in that bag. He just had dirty clothes in the bag.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all get over there about 45 minutes later. What
Just wow with that. I wanted to make sure that I had heard that. And Zane says he literally gave confessions and gave a tip to Ellie. There is no way he would win a lawsuit, even a small chance. He is innocent. He is the reason they are suspects. Exactly. Exactly. You take this banner down right now. He did such an amazing interview. Amazing interview. The duffel bag size changes depending on who he's talking to. Yep. I mean, everywhere he goes, he talks about the duffel bag, and it's, different size everywhere he goes. And then, of course, talks about the laundry that Brandon did. Brandon says he didn't wash clothes, and if he did, it was clothes that were there. There's an interview that says that, he went back somebody went back the next day to put the clothes in the dryer because it was like, so what? He just washed the clothes, but you all didn't stay long enough to put them in the dryer. Yeah. Like, how do you know that, Stacey? Why is it even talked about? Yeah. Not to mention all the YouTube appearances he's done. Thank you, Chaos Mama, for being here. Blue Heron, thank you for coming in. So many people's came in since I last looked. I really appreciate you guys coming in. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Love having everybody here. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Earlier, I talked about the paywall thing and not putting any child behind a paywall. I'm going to be doing a members only live talking about how I investigated my grandma's death. So if you're interested, you'll have to become a member to see that live. It's probably going to be a 2 or 3 parter. What's Walker saying over here? If you look on Google Earth, there's a truck stop at the house on the corner with a hood popped up and someone doing something to it. I don't know if that's them though. I think I have seen that though. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, please give me some thumbs up. Please, it gives that algorithm going and the story out for Michael. Sam, what are your thoughts on Brandon's girlfriend saying that Brandon said it's Caesar in the photographs walking down the street? My thoughts about Brandon's girlfriend saying anything is pretty much she wasn't around when Michael was abducted. I don't believe that it's Caesar. Caesar's a lot bigger than Brandon. He's got longer hair and he's got a beard. So I'm not sure. I don't really know what to think about that entire interview because all of it's really just a lot of hearsay. I don't think she would. I don't know. What is Brandon telling her? What has Brandon told her? If she's asking a lot of questions, if he's guilty of anything, you know, anything he says to her is probably going to be something to say to protect himself. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about that entire interview. You know, that is a recording she didn't even know was being recorded. It wasn't an interview. I actually can tell you she's quite upset about it because I'm still in contact with Brandon. I was impressed with Dolly. He did a great job. He's done a lot to help the family. Yes, I'm 100%. He did do a great job, and he tried so hard to get Stacey to say that he called that tip in, didn't he? Yeah, Carson's truck did have lights on the top, but, you know, they didn't get to borrow that truck. There's no way Carson would have loaned out that truck. I've heard Carson say that himself when I was on a phone call with him and Brooks, actually. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. Always praying for Brandy. I think it is Brandon, but find it very interesting that Brandon says it's Caesar. True. True. Did Brandon say that though? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what to believe from any of them, honestly, or even girlfriends or relationships, you know, because you're going to do everything you can to protect the person that you love too. And we don't really know who Misty is. Yes, justice for Monkey. Thank you so much, Sam, for doing these comparison videos of Stacey's interviews. It really brings too much to the forefront. I appreciate everything you do for the kids of our Pacific Northwest. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. I can't do this without you guys. I say that all the time. Brendan always wears the ripped. Yeah, he does. He always wears the ripped shirts and everything. And I've said on here before, you know, yes, Misty is Brandon's girlfriend. And I've said on here before, to me, it does look like Brandon. Brandon says it's not him. Yeah, everything is hearsay. Everything they're saying is hearsay. Yeah, I believe that she would protect him. Okay, so we need to put Monkey up here. This is Michael Monkey Vaugh. He was abducted July 27th of 2021 in Fruitland, Idaho, around the corner from his home. And the four suspects are Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Brandon Shirtliff, and Adrian Lucian. Sarah and Stacey are still in jail on unrelated charges. You know, law enforcement knows exactly where Brandon and Adrian are. I know that Brandon is in Missoula, Montana working. He was in Livingston and he left. He still has not been back to Livingston from what I know. They know where Adrian is, and indictments are coming. The Vaugh family has already seen the charges brought against all four suspects. And this was all updated January 10th of 2025. Just this beginning of this year, the beginning of this year. So we know charges are coming and we need a tip. You can remain anonymous. You can, you know, get a over $52,000 reward with any information leading to where Michael is. One of these suspects abducted him. One of these suspects murdered him. One of these suspects buried him in the backyard of the Wondras' house. One of these suspects moved him from the Wondras' backyard to an unknown location. The Vaugh family deserves peace. It is time. And Michael deserves justice, and we're never going away. We are Monkey's Army, and we're never going to stop until Michael gets justice and until Michael is home. If you have a tip, any tip, no tip is too small. If you want to be Michael's hero and the family's hero and be able to tell your children about it later on in life or tell them about it now, please call in the tip at 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. The family has suffered long enough. It is time. Please keep Brandy in your prayers. She is really sick. It's just time, isn't it? It's been over 3.5 years. And one of these suspects knows exactly where Michael is right now. Right this second. It would only take a phone call for one of them to tell law enforcement where Monkey is so the Vaugh family could have peace. And it's sad to know that one of them knows and none of them are saying anything. Michael was only 5 years old when he came up missing. 5. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful boy. And he deserves justice. It's heart-wrenching. Be Michael's hero. Call in the tip. 208-642-6006. You owe it to the family. You'll have to live with the decision for the rest of your life that you never told law enforcement what you know. That you never helped law enforcement or this family find Michael. You can also email findmichael@fruitland.org. Please, someone call in that tip. It is time. It's been way overdue for so long. And Adrian, Brandon, if you know something, come forward and say something. Get the deal. Like, be the one that says something and get that deal. Don't get the death penalty. Don't spend the rest of your life in prison. Give this family some justice and get the deal. Time is running out. Indictments are coming. And when they do, you're out of time. You will be out of time. That's when your time runs out, and it's coming. You know, the DA's office has to do everything they have to do in order to, you know, dot their I's, cross their T's, get all of that paperwork ready. And when they do, wow. For Brandy, please take care of yourself. Yes. Get some rest, Mama. Take care of you. She is going to be getting a liver. She goes to Utah at the beginning of April. She will be making a trip here to Washington, though, towards the end of the month. I hope I get to see her. We're not sure if that's going to work out or not yet. We haven't really discussed all of the plans, but she is going to go to Utah at the beginning of the month. And then she's going to come home and rest and just sit back and wait for the liver to come. Pretty sure she's going to be on the top of that list, too. Michael was barely 5 years old. His birthday was 6/24, and he was abducted 7/27. Just a month and a few days later. Yep. He had just turned 5. Your children do not want to grow up thinking they had a monster for a parent. Be Michael's hero and help bring him home. Exactly, Kelly. I appreciate you guys all for coming in. There is so much. Thank you, Sam, for a great live, and always great to see all of our chat and friends here for Michael. Exactly. I love that you guys come and support the family. Could somebody throw up the mill train again, please? Please click the link for the mill train if you can afford it. You know, you can get a Visa card so they can pay their bills, so they can go to the grocery store and get what they want. You can get gift cards for all different kinds of restaurants, and even gift cards with multiple restaurants so that they can use DoorDash. Because when Brandy gets her surgery and gets her liver, she, you know, the family's going to be busy. Tyler may even have to take off work to help take care of Brandy. I don't know if he does or not, but I'm just saying it would really help the family out. You can even sign up to make a meal and drop it off with them. Bring a meal that they can freeze. There are things, though, that thank you, Sarah. Here's the link, guys. Sarah just put it up. Thank you guys for coming in. Please click the mill train. You know, we're going to find justice. We are going to find justice. Thank you, Sam, for keeping Michael's name and case active and supporting his family. I feel blessed to be a part of it. I really do. Ink says, Brandy, I hope and pray you get better really soon. Love you much. Nana's Dragonfly, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you for being here. Where can we find her different links? You can find the links in my Michael Vaugh Facebook group. There is a link in there for t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and all of that for that Monkeys project that they are collecting money for and keeping in a savings account for him. And yeah, you can order yourself a lot of really cool stuff. There's mugs, there's water cups and drink. There's just all kinds of stuff, you guys. Yeah, justice is coming. You guys are awesome. So there are other lives that we can do this week. We have the one live with Eve. There's Hidden True Crime. There's one with a psychic. I haven't put anything up yet for tomorrow. I'll do that tonight. People have been complaining about not getting notifications. I don't know if it's YouTube or the fact that I haven't been putting up the thumbnails soon enough. But we are going over all of the different interviews that Stacey has done. We're just going to keep picking apart all of this. Then we're going to do, we're going to watch the Carson interview that JLR did. We're going to go over the phone call that PJ Vision did with Sarah. We're also going to be looking at the reviews for their taxi service, because I know I promised somebody that we would do that. A super sticker. Thank you. Thank you so very much for coming in and being super yourself. I appreciate you, baby kisses. Thank you. Yeah, hit the notification bell. Hit the notifications. I am so crazy about doing spur of the moment live. So if you ever want to come in, and make sure to hit the notification, because sometimes I'll wake up in the morning, I feel like doing a live today. I don't even give my moderators enough time, really. I feel bad for it sometimes, but it's just the way my life works, because I live day to day. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much. All right, well, I'm going to end this with a little tribute to Michael. Please keep the Vaughn family in your prayers. Please keep Brandy in your prayers. Keep praying for Monkey to come home. Keep praying that, one of these suspects are going to find it in their hearts to tell the Vaughn family exactly where Monkey is. Stay kind to one another, love one another, and I'll see you the next run. Hey, now, where'd that go? Sorry, guys. Have a good night.